Okay. Yo.
We are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. That's my Tyrone Irvin impersonation.
There we go. You guys like and subscribe. Okay. Yo.
What's up?
What it do? This looks so crazy. Look how it's moving. I've never looked at it like this. Usually D is doing that, or we doing it through webcam, or mini cam. So good evening. Good evening. What's up, man? We got a little bit of a late start. We probably gonna have to cut the show a little short tonight, but we got, we're gonna get through it as soon as, as good as we can. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing good. How you doing, brother?
I'm living, man. I just had a tough week. Last weekend I lost my wallet.
Okay. It's fucked up.
That sucks, right?
Yeah.
I went and got one of my cards replaced.
Okay.
And then I left it in the ATM. So I lost it again. Then I have another card that I had at home in school. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I have my money on it at school. I lost that card today. I had to go. Yeah. It's so because I don't have a wallet.
Oh.
I didn't go back. My wife was like, we were in the store and I lost my wallet. And I'm like, I realized I lost my wallet. But it always happens after I pay for something that's important. Like I had to get my car fixed twice this week.
No shit.
Yeah, I lost my wallet right after I paid the guy to get my car fixed. So it happened, right? Today I was paying my rent. And then I paid my rent. And then after that, I lost my car. Yeah. So I'm losing them it's like I'm losing at the right times. But I'm losing my stuff. And so I had to, it's like, man, a good thing that my wife, she's like, heads up. She's like, well, when you got this, because it was a brand new card. But when you got this card, I took a picture of it. Oh. So all I did was hook that card up to my PayPal, send all my money to her bank account.
Nice.
I think it was a conspipcy. I think it's a conspiracy.
Somehow
now my money ends up in her bank account.
She put you together. Hey, why don't you just give me all your money?
Right.
We got the same account. I don't do separate kind of stuff. Man.
Yeah, I don't trip. I got the Scooby-Doo Detective Agency on the case, so we'll figure it out.
Other than that,
man, Gucci.
So, man, we have a interesting show planned out for you guys. Talking about if you read the header.
Yeah, who reads those anymore?
I think people do.
No, you got to. That's how I pick everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's what we do. Is we read the freaking headers and then So I want you to kind of set it up because you brought this to my attention.
Well, basically, we're talking about socialism, and as you know, that as we observe a post-capitalist world, a prediction basically of a post-capitalist world, we're going to move into post-capitalist economic systems like socialism. Okay, but what does that mean? And if someone asks you right now, are you a socialist? Would you know if you're a socialist or not, based on your economic views? Would you know if someone asks you if you're a capitalist or not? Would you know if you're a capitalist based on your economic views?
I don't think most people would.
I don't think people do. I think people are trained to say in America, I'm a capitalist.
Yeah. No, I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist.
No. Yeah, right. So, but do you really know? And that's what this is about. We're going to talk a little bit about the different types of socialism. Yes, there are different types. And then there are also different types of capitalism. And we're going to make sure that you people understand how to distinguish between those.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we're going to talk about the pros and cons. And then Trump versus Obama.
Yeah, the great Trump versus Obama debate.
Hey, how many of you guys wish that they would just maybe step in the ring or something? Do you think Obama would mix Trump up? Trump's 73. So
Trump can't fight.
Right. I don't think
Trump's probably never had a real fight other than maybe beating up one of his wives or something like that. But Trump ain't never like fought like a man or like be, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Lieutenant Bone Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wouldn't bust a grape in a fruit fight.
Yeah, Trump is a hook. So I have no doubt in my mind that he's never had a fight in his life.
Right.
A fist fight. So yeah, so let's get in. I mean, we could get into that real quick. So there's 3 different types of socialism, right?
Right.
And I mean, I'm sure that there's more, but we want to,
Mm-hmm.
It's like socialism and these systems are like talking about intelligence. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different ways that people are intelligent, right? Like don't let somebody tell you that you're not intelligent because you're bad at X. You know what I'm saying? But you could be really great at Y, right? So when it comes to these social systems, economic systems, it like capitalism looks different in other countries. It doesn't look like how it looks in America. It's not like in America, we have the most predatorial brand of capitalism, right? It's sink or swim. It's feast or famine, haves and have-nots. Like that's what capitalism looks like in America.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily look like that in the other places that follow a capitalist model.
I call it higher heights capitalism. And when I say higher heights, I mean, it's almost like America is saying, let's see if we can push the highest. Right now, we got Jeff Bezos sitting on about 100 billion, 100 billion plus. Not anybody else, no other country can boast that they've created 100 billion plus economic people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think America is kind of like, we look at like a Jeff Bezos, or we look at a Rupert Murdoch, who's British,
who's pushing that though? Because I don't see. Like, I don't think that we're pushing that.
Well, I think in a couple of different ways. Mostly it's being pushed by bankers and other rich people. Okay. As far as wanting to see that. Mm-hmm. Because they actually have a shot at being that person in any given generation. You know what I mean? But I also think that the American people have a response. I've also, contributed to it because we like to admire people with a lot of money.
Yeah.
We like to admire, we like to look up and esteem and aspire to the type of things that people with a lot of money have and what they do. And
because we think we're going to be them one day.
And we think, And then we also establish, because you've always been taught that if you're poor, it's because something's wrong with you. You're flawed, or you don't work hard enough, or something's just wrong with you. We don't look at income disparity systematically. We don't look at opportunities systematically, as far as, if I get 1,000 chances, I'm have a better chance of hitting than if I've got 4 or 5 chances in my life. Yeah. And the quality of your chances too, right? Like if I have, because we're talking about life, so it's not like the lottery, but if I have because a lottery, you don't have to have any foundation whatsoever. All you have to do is have $1 and buy a lottery ticket. In theory, the more lottery tickets you have, the more chances you have, the greater your chances are, which mathematically they say that it doesn't matter how many tickets you buy. So, with that being said, when we're talking about like our system and like you were saying before, how it functions and how people are affected by it, it's not so much like, well, some people get lucky and some people don't, and I got a lot of chances, and these people don't have a lot of chances. It's like, we all have one chance because life, we only get one life. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we only get one chance at life. But what happens is in life, like you had a mama, you had a daddy, y'all had money, you grew up in this neighborhood, you had a tutor, you had books, you had lights, you had food, you had healthcare, you had, you know what I mean? You just run down a list of just normal like things that like every person should have, right? You had all of those things. But in America, a lot of people don't have all of those things or the majority of those things, right? And for every one of those things that are missing, the chances of success drops. And then also the quality of those things, because I could have an education and you could have an education, but if you have a better education than me, meaning we mean a better education. Yeah, like what's a better education? Like higher education. Education, a better education in terms of instruction. You know what I mean? Quality, the information that's being conveyed to you, the motivation of the teachers, the individuals that are touching your life. those things change your education. And if you have a better education, or a better educational result, you're going to get a better educational outcome, and your better educational outcome can also contribute to your opportunities.
Absolutely.
So
that these things do matter, right, in life. And so basically what it comes down to is what are you going to do with them? What are you going to do with them? His first fight's his penis day. Yeah, man, you're right, T. Niggas do like to worship. We love wealthy people. Right. They can do no wrong. Trump's president because he's wealthy, but and only like he was able to run because he was wealthy, not because he was actually qualified or anything like that. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the three differences, or the three different types of socialism, right?
Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is socialism but we're going to go ahead and set this up with a clip. Okay. We're hearing the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, never mind. Boo. Okay, so basically, Richard Wolff, Professor Richard Wolff, who is an economist and an economy professor, he basically breaks it down into three groups in terms of socialism as we see it in the world. Okay, the first socialism is basically we're going to refer to as the Nordic model, because the Nordic model is something that you see in Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, things of that nature. Some people call it social democracy. Some people call it democratic socialism. But basically, in a nutshell, it is where the government is brought in by the people into certain industries in order to regulate it, okay, in order to ensure equity in that industry through regulation, but maintaining the structure of private ownership or capitalism inside of that structure. So what you see, that's something that's more like what Bernie Sanders is striving toward, where there's still the capitalist free market structure, quote unquote free market structure, but with heavily regulated industry in the things that basically they will still allow you to make profit on. You know what I mean? I believe there are things that the government,
like healthcare shouldn't be privatized, prisons shouldn't be privatized, education shouldn't be privatized.
I think low income housing shouldn't be privatized as well. I was just thinking about that today, and I was like, people that have, when you see people, private owners of low income housing, what you see is squalor. And just because we have a roof over our head and you see homeless people and you thankful you have a roof over your head, you might not know it, but you live in squalor and you don't know it.
But HUD, so my uncle got involved. He had a home that my grandfather gave him, and then he basically fixed the home up to HUD standards and then turned it into a HUD home and then sold it to HUD or something like that, right? So you could do that too, like as a private, you know what I'm saying?
So what do we see? See, that's the whole thing. That's a beautiful story. But what do we see happening? What we see more often is someone buys a building and either they don't do anything good for it because they want to make a profit despite having low income people, or they change the income level or property value of that property and gentrify the people out.
I'm just saying that it just doesn't, you can't, I mean, the government was in control of the Cabrini Green projects, and Cabrini Greens were terrible. The government was in control of tons of, so it's not that I heard you saying, but low income, when you say low income housing, I'm thinking that it's a government project, not a private, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. There are places where, like, I'm saying that it should, like, or what you're saying is, it sounds like, it's like if you are in an area where you own property and the majority of people in that area don't make that much money, then the government should come in and take over. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Like, I think they should just do the same thing they do in every industry.
I think that if it's below a certain line of where you're like, I'm going to buy property, and the target of that property is for people that are living below a certain level. Yeah. That portion of housing should be under government control. And the reason I believe that is because of oversight.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The reason that the projects thing failed was because the projects were designed for a certain outcome. Yeah. And they succeeded, really.
Yeah. No, the project didn't fail. The project succeeded. Like that, that's the thing we got to get away from too. Not you and me, I'm just saying, like in general, like as a society, we got to get away from saying stuff like the system is messed up. The system has failed. And the system ain't failed. The system is perfect. For what it was. For what it's designed to do. The system is, and I've said this before, the system is beautiful. It's like, and I you know, I got to use this example. I don't want to sound too like whatever, but like in the Matrix, the system, you know, when you looked at the system, it was like it kept you asleep, it kept you inside the Matrix. And if you were not in the Matrix and you were living outside of, you were in the real world, you looked at the Matrix, and a lot of people hated it and they wanted to destroy it. But if you just looked at it for what it was, you was like, damn, that shit is dope. Like that's a dope ass system. I gotta respect it. I'm not saying that I like it. I'm not saying that I think that it's a good thing, but I respect the system and it's working. You know what I'm saying? For the people or whatever that made it to created it for it to benefit them. This system now that we have is it's like the most perfect system for them. It keeps you sleep just enough. You know, you don't want to fight back. You know what I'm saying? You got just enough to not want to lose it. You know what I mean? Like in other countries,
just enough to
run the machinery, just enough to run the machinery, but not know how to take over the shit. They set it up just fucking right. Just healthy enough to live a certain amount of time. It's like a car. It's like I sell cars. So, and in the car industry, people say this are phones. You can even talk about it with your phone. People say like, yeah, man, after 2 years, my phone just started, like as soon as my 2 years was up, my phone stopped working. Like that's what I feel like they do with us as humans. Like they like, yeah, we gonna get 65 years out of you. We're gonna get 65 years out of you, and then right around at 60, we might start breaking down around like the 60th, but you could push it and you'll push it through and get 5 more years, and then after then, fucking, we don't care. You're gonna live the worst quality of life ever. You ain't gonna have nowhere to live. You ain't gonna have enough food to eat. You ain't gonna be able to afford your medication. We don't give a fuck. But for them 65 years when you working, or no, I'm sorry, it's not even that. It's after school, so it's 18 to 65 because they don't care about you in school either because school is fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But once they got you, once you doing something for them, yeah, we're gonna keep you alive. You know what I'm saying? So
when we're talking about the Scandinavian model of socialism, we're talking about government control with the permission of the people.
Yep.
Into certain industries that the people demand the regulation for. Yeah. Like healthcare, for instance. Medicare for All is a socialist program in that thread where the people will have to demand that the government come in and run healthcare and take it away from the private insurance companies.
As they should.
Right.
Because we see what happens if you leave it up to private insurance companies.
Absolutely.
Why should you profit from somebody being sick? Just that in alone.
Why should it be hooray? Oh, they're sick? Yes. Let's see how much we can deny them.
Cut corners. That's all they're going to end up doing. And then the second, another part of socialism, or another example of socialism would be socialism where basically what you were saying, but then also add the caveat of the workers are now a part of the corporation, right? So basically it becomes totally democratic, right? So the government, the government comes in, they regulate, they don't take over the industries. They regulate the industries. I'm sorry, so it wasn't like you said, they regulate the industries. And then they say, and then the people, it's totally democratic. So we work for Kaiser. We all get a vote. We negotiate how much money we're gonna make. It's basically ran by unions if you think about it in that way. Like every company is one big union. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not a union in the company. The company itself runs like a union.
It's like a round table.
Yes, like you have a vote. It's not like, well, I'm the CEO or the whoever has the money, like we control everything, or the board. And it's not like that. It's like, Tyrone, you sweep floors. I'm a nurse. I'm sorry, Tyrone. I'll just every time I read Tyrone's name and then he's not here, then I always say his name. Robert, you sweep floors. Prince, you're a nurse. Shit, Tyrone, you're a doctor, right? But we all got the same vote. So when it's time to talk money, when it's time to talk direction of the company, when it's time whatever, we're all like, no. We're not going to do that, yay or nay. Everybody votes count. Everybody's vote counts. That is a democratic way of doing things, and that, to me, is the best way of doing it.
Well, think about it like this: everything that we do in American politics is supposed to be democratic.
Yeah.
But when you go to work, your work is very authoritarian. Yeah. You have a job. Your boss tells you what to do. You do that job. You step out of your lane, you're not a part of the company any longer. Yeah. You want something more, you want better pay, you have to strike and stop working. You want a say-so on what's going on, you don't have one because unless you own stock, which can be very expensive.
No. Even if you own stock, though, what do you get? Like if I own 100 shares of Apple right now, I don't have any control. All I can do is either sell my stock or sit on my stocks. That's all.
You can still vote, but 100 shares doesn't get you it won't get you one full vote.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't get you a full vote. So
it will get you less than 1% of the company for sure.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is that, in certain companies, you can own, you're represented by how much of that company that you own monetarily, and that really cuts out most workers. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you look at a company, a country like Germany. Germany requires that companies over a certain size that 30% of the board members actually are elected by the workers, and then the workers, those worker representatives, which are switched in and out intermittently, they actually have a say in what produced. Yeah. You know what I mean? How the money is distributed. They're board members. Yeah. So they have a chance to basically express, right? They can make sure that the employees aren't getting railroaded in these backroom meetings, and that is a socialist way of redesigning a workplace where it brings the same democracy that we enjoy in our political
that we're supposed to have in our political,
but that we strive and attain toward, but bringing that to the workplace. Because it doesn't matter what's going on in the big government, because we're not casting votes in that either. Yeah. Like, really?
No.
But we go to work every day. Average person throughout their life in America is going to work 100,000 hours of their life. Yeah. So if you got authoritarianism going on in your workplace where you're spending most of your time, you can't be in a democracy, really. You're in an authoritarian government because that's where you live.
Wouldn't you want... Like, doesn't the common sense as an adult, you know what I'm saying? I'm asking everybody, not just you. I'm asking you specifically right now. But I want everybody to answer this question. So as an adult, as a person who works and contributes and goes to work every day, you know your worth. You know what I'm saying to your no, I'm sorry. None of us know our true worth to our company.
Right.
But I'll tell you this. Whatever you make, whatever your pay is right now, you're worth 5 times more than that to your company.
At least.
That's how much money they're making off of you. If you sweep floors and you make $15 an hour and you clocking $2,500 a month, you're really worth 10 grand to your company. You're really, you know what I'm saying? Like however you want to slice it. Somehow, somewhere you're saving them, X amount of dollars some way, whatever the case may be.
Somebody slip, trip, and fall because the floor ain't swept.
Exactly.
They have to pay tons of money, and you're helping, and you're actually facilitating the environment to which other people come in to produce to make the profit.
So we don't know a lot of people don't know. Once again, so I'm in sales. I know it's interesting being in sales, right? Because when I make a sale, I know how much I get a percentage of that sale. So I know how much I'm making from my company. You see what I'm saying? Like, I literally see it. I see it on paper. I'm like, all right, boom. And that's just what I see. I know I make them other money too, but I'm saying the majority of the money I make my company, I see it on a piece of paper. I sold a car. I made $5,000. I get 25% of that. So I get $1,200, or whatever it is. Yeah, 25% of $1,200 of $1,250 or whatever of $1,500, $5,000 or whatever, right? So I get $1,250. Yeah.
Oh, 25%.
25%. Yeah. So $1,250. I get $1,250 of that deal. I see it on a piece of paper, so I get to see it. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't make hourly. That's all I make. So I know how much money I make in my company. I see it at the end of the month. I'm like, damn, I made these motherfuckers $178,000 and I got 10,000, whatever the case may be. So I see that. Most people don't see, especially if you're on salary and especially if you're on hourly, you don't fucking know. And that it's important for you to know your worth to the companies you work for. And my question is that now that if you haven't thought about that, now start thinking like that, and then start thinking like, damn, shouldn't I have a say in what goes on in this company day to day? Why does my life have to be controlled by some rich asshole at the top, or even some rich assholes at the top, right? Even if it's 100 of them. If it's a company like Pepsi, or if it's a company like Aetna, right, and they got 10,000 employees, it's still 100 people controlling the fate of 10,000 people, or 50,000 people, or 100,000 people. You know what I'm saying? Like, shouldn't I have a vote in that? Like, doesn't that seem like kind of like a common sense? Like, everybody should want that, right? Like, I don't know.
And then on top of that, think about it like this: people, we're as creatures, we get attached. When you create something, you're attached to it. When you produce something, you know what I mean? And then you have to leave what it is that you produced at that place. And then now the decision over what you produced goes to someone else. They can throw away what you created if they wanted to. Mm-hmm. They can sell it for a profit and you don't get any of the profits. You get a paycheck. They can do whatever they want. But think about a little kid. People love what they produce. You know what I mean? There's an attachment. Think about a little kid. Your child comes in your house, drew a picture, mommy, daddy, the whole family. Yeah. Look what I did. You put it up on a refrigerator. You say, look what he did. You know, they're proud of it. They're proud of it. They like that thing. You know what I mean? They get a kick out of looking at it. Mm-hmm. We're the same. Just because you're an adult doesn't mean you're not the same way.
Yeah, exactly. You want the same thing.
The things that you did, you want it to count for something. That's why people, when you poll people, they would rather work somewhere. They pay less to work for somewhere where they're appreciated and something meaningful. Yep. They'll work for less than for something to do something that pays more, but it's like they don't feel like it has any They don't feel like it has any intrinsic value to the world. Mm-hmm. So there are people that you're doing something, a great service for someone, right? But you're detached from the actual rewards of that service, and a little piece of you is affected by that day by day. This is Marx, okay? Yeah. This is Marx. This is Marx's philosophy. Marx is the king, I would say, of post-capitalist philosophy. Okay, mm-hmm. And he says that people are connected to the things that they produce. And so essentially, by not having you have a say in the fate of the things you produce, that is essentially abuse.
Yes.
They are essentially abusing you. And they are essentially psychologically putting you at a lower state. The workers are not at a lower state than the executives. No. The only reason it's perceived that way is because of the economic system that we're in right now. But in reality, if every worker walks off, what is an executive? And an executive would have to become a worker in order to maintain production.
Well, they wouldn't, though.
But they would not.
Because there's not enough executives, so they know that
they will do whatever that takes to get you to come back to work. That's where unions come from. So,
or they hire scabs.
Right. Or the hire scabs.
Yeah.
So you think, and they hire scabs. But that's also why, you know what, that they also detach you from that feeling of value with your work, because they make everything. They used to make cars where people would basically handcraft cars.
Yeah, every car.
When the assembly line started, everybody gets one job. All you do is take a door and bang this one part of, put it on here, put that on.
It made it more efficient.
Put that on here. Yeah. It made it more efficient, but it also made it so anybody can do that.
Yeah.
Anybody can make a car now.
Mm-hmm.
We can get any group of people in here and make a car. As long as we get everybody at their own station. If we can put somebody in the station, they don't have to know any skill. They don't have to have any real skill. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what they did is they destroyed the skilled worker. And then they used the fact that they destroyed the skilled worker to devalue the worker. And that's why wages remain stagnant.
That's a reason why. That's not the only reason.
Yeah, that's greed is another reason why, for sure. But that's one of the main reasons. They don't feel like you're worth it, or they try to make you feel like you're not worth it and suppress the intrinsic value of your work.
Mm-hmm.
But your work is obviously very valuable, or they would not have a factory.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wouldn't be billionaires.
Yeah, that 100%. And also the system, the system with the money that they get, they lobby and they, you know, they make it to where they don't have to pay you as much and so on and so forth or whatever. But so those are two types of socialism. And then the last one is going to be communism, what people refer to as so what a communist is a communist thinks that the government should own everything, the means of production, they should control it all, right? And then everybody basically works for the government.
Right.
That's one part of communism. Also, another part of communism is moving forward is they don't believe in borders and they don't believe in money. So like currency. So yes, like communism is to be a real communist, for communism to actually work, the whole world has to practice communism. Therefore, we have never seen communism work. No, not even close. We haven't even seen like three fully socialist countries next to each other function.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Let alone one socialist country. You know what I mean? So, but these are just ideologies. And with that being said, like, so the whole premise or the whole reason why we wanted to have this conversation was so that we could ask people, what do you think you are? Like, what sounds good to you, right? And then, and also capitalism. I mean, well, let's talk about capitalism a little bit too, because that way people can understand how capitalism functions.
Mm-hmm.
Because capitalism in America is totally predatory. Like I said before, capitalism is all about the haves and the have-nots. So you have extremely wealthy people, and you have extremely poor people. And in America right now, you have very few middle-class people. Basically, I'll be honest with you. The way that I see the middle class in America, the people who I look at as middle class people,
right,
are like LeBron James. I know people are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like LeBron James is worth like $250 million, right? Kobe Bryant's worth like $250 million, you know, whatever. Oprah, I think Oprah is like middle class to me. No, she's above middle class. She's she's up there. I'm sorry, not Oprah. I'll take that back. But yeah, I think like your athlete, your movie star, your high profile CEO type person, like those people, I think they are, to me, more like the middle class. I think that Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, fucking Steyer, the guy who was trying to run for president, that's worth like $29 billion, like those, that's the upper class. I think the middle class is like LeBron James and them. And I think everybody else is just basically poor and don't know it. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to poor. I think there's poverty, and I think the majority of people are living in poverty, whether they know it or not. Because if you don't have enough for a $500 emergency, you're in fucking poverty.
Right.
If you can't afford health care, you're in fucking poverty. If you can't send your kid to college, you're you know what I'm saying? Like you just go down the line. Like this is
on a global scale, 50% of people on a global scale are in poverty. In the United States, they're saying that, you know, maybe about 22% of people live below the poverty level.
They say 22%? That's
22% live below what they call the poverty level.
I think 50.
And you can't meet your basic needs. I mean,
I think 50 live under the poverty level.
There's working poor and there's working class people. Mm-hmm. When you say poverty, you know,
people have food insecurity.
I don't want to, and I don't want to look at somebody that has even less than me and then put myself in the same boat as them and say, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are people lower than me even that have a different set of needs.
I eat every day, you eat every day.
Right.
Okay.
That, you know, those type of things. I don't worry about what I'm going to eat tomorrow. I don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I eat good.
Right. So there's people with different sets of needs than what we do. So,
yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, to me, because I know people that don't have health. Like I have health care, and my kids have health care, right? My wife doesn't have health insurance though.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if something happens to her, we're fucked.
Right.
As a family, we're fucked. Like, not just her. Like, we're all fucked.
And then you can't even go out and shoot some hoops, man. You tear ACL.
Yeah, you got to be worried about everything.
You walk with a limp for the rest of your life.
Yep. Everything, bro. And my brother ruptured his Achilles like 8 years ago, still walking around with a limp. You know what I'm saying? Like just being real, man. Like, I know people that are sick, they can't afford the medication, can't afford to go to the doctor to get the like, you know what I mean? Like, that shit is like that's why I'm like, I know we could, you know, it's all semantics and we could bat it around, and there's people who are always going to be more poor than you, because there's people in America. This is how fucked up our society is in America. There are people in America, I see posts, I see memes, I see whatever. Every fucking day, people wake up and say, I'm alive, it's a good day, or some shit like that. I'm blessed.
Blessed
I'm
to wake
shut
up
the
this morning.
fuck up, dude. Waking up is the bare fucking minimum.
Right.
Man.
Breathing is the
bare minimum, man.
You could be blessed and dead if that's the case.
If that's the, yeah.
You don't have to drag yourself. If you live in a bad, terrible life, you could be blessed to be dead.
You can't tell me that some kids, you can't tell me that the motherfuckers right now that live in Flint, that can't drink, that can't take a damn bath, are blessed. Because they woke up this morning. You
can't tell me that some kid in the Sudan, that every time he wakes up in the morning, his stomach hurt.
Yeah. Because
he ain't ate in about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. You can't tell me you're blessed just to wake. God woke you up this morning. Don't give me that bullshit.
That's the type of shit we tell ourselves in this fucked up world to deal with the shit. I understand. I'm not blaming anybody for doing that. We tell ourselves that stuff because that's what we feel like we got to do just to fucking make it. Because if we realize that we ain't,
well, that's what they tell you to do.
No, yeah,
they tell this is how you get through it.
Yeah,
it's like they're training you. Yeah. Okay, look, man, I know we just took all your money, but you woke up this morning. Come on, dude. Like, we're not gonna play this. We're not gonna play this shit with people, okay?
Yeah, it's a real life thing. So I don't do the I woke up this morning, I'm blessed bullshit. I don't. Because I know better than that. But yeah, so that's the type of shit that we tell ourselves in this country. We tell ourselves that well, you got running water. At least you don't live in Africa. At least you don't live in fucking the Amazon and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those people are living worse than us. Like, it's all relative. It's all perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because I envy the people. I envy the what are those people? The Sentinels that live on the island, the Sentinelese or whatever you want to call them, the ones that killed the white dude
in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah, the Indian. Some of my favorite black people. I ain't never met them. I love them to death though. They kill anybody, black, white, or whatever. They kill you if you get close to their island. I love that shit.
Yeah,
they smart. They got the game figured out.
They're like,
right?
We don't have to make our island great again.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep it the way it is.
We good. And I didn't see one starving motherfucker on that island. They all had bellies and they was all smiling and shit. So they look happy to me. So I envy that shit to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Like we could be happy in our worlds and whatnot, but I envy that living in this capitalistic society. The way that our lives are, I'm like, man, this shit is crazy, man.
And this is the funny thing about capitalism that would blow your mind. Capitalism rewards, the greedier you are, the more it rewards you. The more crooked and underhanding you are, capitalism rewards you. The more ability, the more savvy that you have to lie and to trick people, capitalism rewards you. Because this is what capitalism was supposed to do. It was supposed to increase production. And capitalism was brought on with the increase of production. And capitalism increases production to the point where really a lot of people don't have to work. That's why we're talking about like people losing their jobs through automation and stuff like that. That's the point of capitalism, where people are supposed to have more, not be able to work. And Americans have a tremendous amount of leisure time compared to some people. Back in agriculture. Agricultural societies,
because they will wake up at 5 and not work. Stop working at 5. You know what I mean? Like,
and we have a lot more leisure time. But did you know that the time that capitalism was supposed to produce for everyone to have more leisure,
it only produced it.
It produced it for the people on top because they're making millions of dollars on vacation.
Yeah,
they're taking the time that was supposed to help you to be able to relax more, and they're actually doing it. And then they'll call you lazy if you don't show up to work for a paltry wage, and then tell you that the reason that you're poor, you don't have the things you want or have the money you want, because you don't work hard enough. When in actuality, you get up every day and you work just as hard as a billionaire.
You work harder than a billionaire.
You work billionaire hard every day.
Yeah, and you work the billion too. So that's a great point, because that is the trick. That's the lie that they tell you. You ain't, and also they tell you shit like you're poor because you don't invest your money. You're poor. Like, I hear this shit a lot.
Oh, little stop. That's my cousin. Hey, hit the like, subscribe.
I hear this a lot. Like, I heard this the other day, actually. I wish I could share it with you guys, but I heard this the other day. It was one of my friends was like, I'm not really focused. Like, we were talking about something, and then they were like, I'm not focused on that. I'm more focused on growing generational wealth. And, like, people start I think we think like that shit sounds good. It makes you sound like smart, and it makes you sound like you get into the bag or whatever the case may be. But to me, if you're not talking about breaking this fucking system down and like getting rid of it, you're not talking about shit. If you're talking about trying to participate on a higher level in a capitalistic society, you're playing the wrong game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still playing Russian roulette. And as a Black person, there is no place for Black people in this capitalistic society.
Oh, there's a place.
Under
the boot
of
the white supremacy. Because you got to understand something about capitalism. Capitalism cannot survive without the caste system. Remember, I told you that the people want you to believe that the workers are below the owners of any given company or against under the corporation. They want you to believe you're under, because there has to be a pecking order. There has to be a social caste. Without the caste system, a workplace doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That's why you've got manager, supervisor, blah, 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 blah. And the higher up, the more of a say you have. And it starts with the board members and who has the most money and most control and who's pitched in the most startup money, right? Mm-hmm. So when we extrapolate that, now capitalism has a caste system in normal society. There's social implications for capitalism. And they use race because it's a very easy identifier.
Black.
Oh, look at his skin color. Look at his skin. I can see you from a mile away. I can see you from across the anything. I can see you over the internet. I can see your skin color. See, the rest of the stuff I can't tell. You know what I mean? We can't go by whose liver is the best, whose heart pump the best, whose heart's pumping Kool-Aid. They're like, you're the low. Yeah. Basically, we got to go. So they use that race as a social caste system.
Sex and race; those are the two biggest
sex and race, right?
Identifiers.
So, and then what? Before you try to point out the one or two Black billionaires and try to say, "Well, see, Jay-Z's a billionaire and turned a billionaire this week," let me fucking break it down for you. Jay-Z is in the social caste system of billionaires. Mm-hmm. He's on the low of the totem pole.
That's what I was saying. He's like middle class. Like that nigga almost like middle class.
Then you have your people that are rich. They're like, oh, ball players, entertainers, all that. They're on the low ball of the millionaires.
What the people who own the teams? They're the, you know what I mean? Like they're the really rich people.
Guys, right? Yeah, they're like, I'm a billionaire over here. I'm a billionaire over here. And then when you come to the working class, because there's plenty of white people in the working class.
The majority of white people are in the working class.
Right. The majority of the working class is white people.
Yeah.
And so in that working class, there's a caste system too.
Yep.
There's white workers, right?
Yep.
Then you have
there's white males, there's Asian males, there's and you're Black women, there's white.
And there's different parts of the caste system, like, oh, I'm a tech guy, or I'm an academic, or I'm a
blue collar, white collar.
Blue collar, white collar, right? Mm-hmm. So those different types of fake labels, they're fake because really we're all human beings, and we all need to be treated to a certain standard. You know what I mean? We all just have, and if you listen to the founding fathers of America, we all have inherent rights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I believe we all have inherent rights.
I do.
Now, whether they nailed it as far as what those rights are.
Fuck the paper. I believe that shit without the paper.
Because that's not something that came out because they wrote it.
Yeah.
It's something they wrote down because humans know that.
Knew that. They just wrote it
we
down.
know that humans have inherent rights.
Yep.
So now we see these fake labels that are put on because once you start to adopt those labels, they said, we got you.
Yeah.
Now we can tell you what the pecking order is.
Yeah.
And if you're in this label, this is your pecking order. And being a Black person, on any one of those levels, being black on any one of those levels puts you at the bottom of whatever that caste is. Whatever that caste is.
Yeah.
So you might be able to go caste to caste. Trust me, you're on the bottom, whatever caste you're in.
Yeah.
Just by being black, because it's the identifier.
Yeah.
They can always tell if you're black.
Look at Oprah when she went to France. They still followed her around the store.
Yeah,
they still followed her around the store because she's still a nigga, no matter what.
Right.
So the sooner we realize that shit, that there is no place because capitalism was invented by Europeans.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like this system was created by Europeans for the betterment of that specific group.
It was created by the people that rule now, the bourgeoisie.
Yeah. Because
they wanted to get out of the people that were royalty saying, well, we are born, we have a birthright, like we're God-given birthright, like I rule. Like a king, they had the kings and the lords, and they said that God put them there and they ruled at the pleasure of God.
Yeah.
And that they were the direct conduit to God, and this was God's work. Mm-hmm. The rich bourgeoisie people were like, no. Because there's people that were becoming rich and they were like, no, but you're not a royal blood. They're like, no, fuck that. We're coming for your neck if you don't give us our, if you don't recognize what's going on, that we're people too, that we have the same aspiration as you, we're coming for your neck. They were like, okay, we'll compromise. Capitalism came out of that compromise.
Tyrone said, he asked, so are y'all saying that we should all be workers and not be owners?
No.
I mean, the thing about being so the thing about socialism, the way it works is or the way it could work, one of the parts of it is that you could have a co-op. So everybody in there is an owner. Mm-hmm. So it's no such thing as a worker. Everybody's a part owner. If you make everybody a part owner, then they take more stock in the company. They want to do more for the company and go the extra mile because it's their company. Have you ever seen that movie Trading Places with Eddie Murphy and
yeah.
So in Trading Places, there's a part where it was when they first told Eddie Murphy like, this is your home, and he was in the house and he was trying to steal shit. And the Dukes brothers, they were like, if you steal from this house, you would only be stealing from yourself. And at first he didn't understand that because he didn't believe him, but he didn't understand that concept. So the niggas taking the cigar shit, he putting in his shirt, he got the value, he trying to, oh, look at that over there. Oh, that's the girl, I love my painting. And that's basically what it's like to be an owner. I mean, like not working hard if you're a part owner of a company, right? Mm-hmm. Like if we're all owners in a company and we all own 10% of a company or whatever, and there's 100 and there's 10 of us, right? We're all going to be given 100%. You're not going to be given 80 and 20 and blah, 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 because the more I work, the harder I work, the more money the company's going to make, the more successful I am because it's direct. Now, if you are on salary or if you are on hourly, it don't fucking matter how hard you work, right? If you don't own a part of that company, it don't fucking matter how hard you work because if I go 110% for 8 hours or I go 80% for 8 hours, I'll make the same amount of money after them 8 hours is up. Right. You see what I'm saying? But if we're all owners and we get a percent of the company and the company only goes as far as we take it, then people will work hard. This is like a proof, like this is like a real exercise that it's already
it's a real social experiment.
Yeah, it works. Like
That's why there are a lot of companies like Hot Dog on a Stick, for example, totally employee owned.
Yeah,
they have because they understand the board of those companies understand that when you give ownership to these employees, they work harder and better.
And people love working for those companies.
Right.
The people that work
because they feel like they can go in every day and improve their stock price of their company by working hard and doing the right thing.
Well, everyone would have to be able to bear the cost evenly. How can I mean? You once again
the owners will still probably get the most capital personally, but think about it. You still split the percentages with the workers equitably, not evenly. Everything's not gonna be even. It's gonna be equitable.
Yeah,
the workers get what they deserve. You know what I mean? They split what they deserve.
Yeah,
a percentage. Like say we give 35% of all of our money goes back to the workers.
Yeah,
or 45% of all our profit goes back to the workers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. What if you just split the profit? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a company right now in America. It's a bread company. I can't remember the name. I read about it like 5 years ago. There's a bread company right now where everybody in the company owns part of the company. And the owner of the company pays himself. He only makes $70,000 a year. But everybody else in the company, guess how much money they make? $70,000 a year. Every single person, the person on the line that heats up the machine, whatever. If you work for that company, everybody in the company makes $70,000. It's an ideology. It goes deeper than, well, I should get more money. Like if that's how you want to be, then cool. Like I don't know how that would work in your company, right? Well, but if I started a company, I don't think that I would give a fuck if I made more money or less money. If I put up the money, right? If I put up the money of a company, I'm saying. So here's what I'm saying. If I put up the money for the company and I follow this the model that we have for ourselves, like the one you just broke down earlier, right? Like the totalitarianism, whatever you want to call it, right? The way that our system is like, boom, it's like I'm a CEO, I'm at the top, and then and then you got foot soldiers all the way at the bottom, right? Okay, cool. I do that. My company, let's say, in theory, that company's worth that company makes $2 billion, like whatever profit or whatever you want to call it, Okay, cool. Now I have a company where I'm gonna make you part owner, I'm gonna make Tyrone part owner, I'm gonna make Cindy part owner, How much more money do you think that company can? I think that company could potentially make $7 billion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way it works because everybody in the company get more out of them. They're better. They're smarter. They all have a vote. One, like what do you say? Two heads better than one, right?
Right.
Imagine listening to your fucking workers when you have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Instead of you just trying to figure out ways to cut money and you're just listening to your work. The people that work in the company, they're voting now. They're going like, well, damn, I think a way to increase productivity is And then you got everybody putting it to a vote. So you got people on the line that, they experiencing the same thing or whatever. So that they know like, no, they co-sign on it because you're not on the line every day. You don't do that. You don't do their job. You dig what I'm saying? Like, cause we all are delegated different jobs in our job at our place of employment, right? So I don't know what I don't know what Robert does. I don't know his job inside and out. I'm saying you don't know my job inside and out. But if we have an issue with my field or with my whatever I do, and I say, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z, right? And then everybody in my thing goes, yeah, we should do X, Y, and Z. And everybody in the company goes, yeah, we should do X, Y, and Z.
Tyrone, this says split on a percentage of your investment. That's capitalism. That is what goes on now. They split the money based on, they're called dividends. They split the money, the profit based on your investment in the company. But what we're talking about is this. Say there's a factory. You have a worker, you have a supervisor, you have a CEO.
Hold on.
And
go ahead.
Okay. You have a worker, you have a worker, you have a supervisor, you have a CEO. All three of them, you need a worker, you need a supervisor, you need a CEO to run the company. The way it's going now is they pay these CEOs tons of money as if the CEO is one that's driving the performance and making the supervisor supervise better, and which is making the worker work better. Mm-hmm. But in a social workplace, we're saying CEO is just a job, just like supervisor is just a job, just like worker is just a job, and they all are necessary in order to make X amount of dollars. If any one of those cogs was gone, we would not make X amount of dollars, right? But the CEO is still just a job. Now, CEOs might make a little bit more because they own the company, but only if the worker and the supervisor attribute that type of importance to the job. Mm-hmm. Not because somebody just says, CEOs are supposed to make the most money. Yeah. No one knows. It's not that. It's only like that if the worker and the supervisor have a say in the CEO and making more money. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? If by vote, everybody decides we're all going to make the same amount, we all make the same amount.
Tyrone, that can apply to any size business. It doesn't matter how big the business is. It can apply if you got 5 people working, 500 people, 10,000 people. It's the business model works. There's different companies that do. There's small companies that practice this, and there's really, really big companies that practice this.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but yeah, you're right. To a certain extent, I know what you're saying. You're saying like, if I put up my money, I'm the business owner, right? I've started off the business. I put up $100,000. Then I need to make, I need to make more money than just the people I just hired off the street. Okay, cool. You could fix that in the business. You know what I'm saying?
And the workers, I mean, the workers would probably agree to that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
they probably understand that.
I'm sure they would.
Because you get an opportunity. I mean, everybody gets an opportunity to speak about it.
Yeah.
See, the whole thing about it is the way it works now. They don't have to consult you on anything. They don't have to talk about it. They don't have to understand. They just have to obey. Yeah. And that right there takes value out of your life.
Absolutely.
That destroys lives. Okay? There's plenty of people that come home. 80% of Americans hate their fucking job. 80% of people are doing something every fucking day for the best hours of their life, for the best years of their life, that they fucking hate to do. And that is a goddamn shame.
Yep.
This will change things.
Hold on.
To make a workplace that's more equitable, that's more favorable, to where people will want to work, will love where they work. And when people love where they work, productivity goes up. You know how we know? Because in these Scandinavian countries that have these type of practices, their productivity is up. Even though they get things like 4 weeks of paid vacation and shit like that at their jobs. They still productivity is still higher.
All the overhead investment, pay all the insurance license employees. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I understand what you're saying. It like I said, it's not. I'm not saying that you're wrong to expect more money.
And if you do that, ask your workers, who do you think should get paid the most? They're gonna say you.
Yeah. Tori Martin asks, I'm still waiting to hear about Obama and Trump.
I think a lot of people are.
When are we going to hear that part? And is that going to affect everybody and not just black people? Because I'm over it.
Tori's white.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure. I was like,
she's a friend of mine. She's a friend of mine.
Oh, okay. I couldn't figure it. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. And yes, we're gonna talk. We could, you know what? We're coming up with an.
And also, right now, that everything we were just talking about affects everybody. It just affects black people the most.
Like most. I'm just saying that black people are on the lower part of the caste system. That's what I said. Other than that, like I said, there are plenty of white working people, white poor people, white people, and they try to make it look like it's not the case. But if you go to these rural areas, you're going to see dirt poor white people all over the place. It's like all over America.
It's like if we talk about the justice system, and well, the majority of people in prison are white, of course, because the majority of America is white, right? But who does it affect the most, though? Black people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So none of these things that we're saying are exclusive. Are problems that are exclusively attributed to black people or solely affecting black people. You know what I'm saying? But we are black.
and let's keep it real. If there's going to be socialism in America, it's going to be because white people put the thumbs up on it. Yeah. I mean, it's majority of white people. It's the majority. They're the people. And so we have to work across those. See, race is another one of those things that they attribute in caste, because white people don't call themselves white when you go to other countries. No. White, black, Hispanic, those are other terms that have been made up in America, because America is hyper-racial.
You said, Tori says, I'm not dirt poor, but I'm right there with the minority.
Exactly. Yeah. So we have to drop the racial monikers, and we have to come together in the name of prosperity for everyone.
We need that rainbow coalition. I'm gonna say it. I know it sounds terrible. They ruined the name. But in reality, we do need a rainbow coalition. It's gonna take everybody coming together.
Cool as a kid.
Yeah, it sounds dope. But as a we need to realize that we all broke and we all getting fucked.
Right.
Black, white, Mexican, Asian, whatever the fuck. We all need to realize that shit. The vast majority of us are getting fucked, and the sooner we realize that, the better. So
it's not the only real division is the bourgeoisie and the proletariat. That's it. So.
Because classism is worse than racism. Man,
they're the same thing in capitalism, though. Yeah. Racism is the only reason they're being racist is in order to impose classism based on race.
You can't separate them, man.
You can't separate capitalism from white supremacy.
But I will tell you this: the reason why I would never say classism is worse than racism is because the same reason why you just said earlier. You don't know if somebody's rich or poor. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to know that. You don't know. But I see the dumbass memes that try to act like poor people don't deserve to have nice things. So if they'll have a silhouette of, and they'll say poor guy, and he'll have on $80 glasses and some Jordans and some $300 jeans and an $80 t-shirt or whatever, and they'll be like Like basically like you shouldn't be buying that because you're poor. And then they'll have like a picture of like somebody that looks like Bill Gates, and then he'll have on some $10 glasses and a Target shirt and some, you know what I'm saying? And like he's a billionaire, right? Like so we don't know what, like we see Michael Jordan out in the world. If you didn't know Michael Jordan's face and he wasn't really tall, Michael Jordan wears like mom jeans and like Michael Jordan doesn't dress like a billionaire, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whatever that is. So classism is not worse than racism. The effects of classism may be worse than racism. I really don't know. But once you get to that point, I feel like you can't separate it.
And I ain't never seen a billionaire. I don't care what he's wearing. I never seen him living in an apartment. So fuck off. Right? You don't ever see him in an apartment. Yeah. But the whole thing is you cannot separate it from white supremacy. But but what I want to do is I want to separate certain white people from white supremacy. White people not every white person is a white supremacist. They don't understand it. Every white person cannot understand white supremacy. The white supremacists understand it for you guys. It's almost like prop them up. You know what I mean? It's almost like, like you have this dumbass kid and you giving him all these opportunities and you're like, dude, come on, just fucking, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm over here kicking this black guy's ass, you know what I mean? For you. We're doing this for you to have a future. Mm-hmm. So there's white people that have rejected white supremacy and black people that contribute to white supremacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Knowingly.
Obama.
Knowingly. They're like, look, this is a white supremacy, but I'm selling out for a slice of the devil's pie.
Obama definitely sold out. So that's a perfect segue. I like that. So Obama. Mm-hmm. Obama versus Trump. The reason why we want to touch on this is because I did a video the other day. Robert was on, and one of my friends was on, and there is this myth or this theory circulating right now that Trump has done more for black people than Obama did. Right now, first things first. Neither one of us. I'm gonna speak for both of us because I know what we both feel about Obama for the most part. Neither one of us supported Obama. Neither one of us are Obama Knights. We are not Obama dick riders. Neither one of us give a fuck about Trump. Both of us dislike Trump just as much as anybody else. The majority of people in this country, I would say. So yes, neither one of us give a fuck about Obama. Neither one of us give a fuck about Trump. Neither one of us have a dog in the fight in that regard, right? Right. Okay. With that being said, though, there's no fucking way in hell you're gonna tell me So first things first, just based on the time frame. Trump's been in office for like 3 years now, right? 2.5 years, something like that. 3 years. It was 2016. Yeah, 2016. He came in 2017, right? January 2017.
Yes.
So 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Mm-hmm. There's no fucking way you're going to tell me that he did more for black people than Obama did in 8 years.
Right.
Just based on that alone. But even if you want to go based on the first 2.5 years versus Obama first 2.5 years.
Let's just start it off right quick. If I was to just go around the country and say, give me a story about how you feel about Obama being elected president, a black person being elected president. Mm-hmm. Every black person's got an Obama story.
Mm-hmm. I cried when Obama got elected. I didn't even vote for him.
Just by virtue of him coming into office and that did something for black people.
It did.
It did a lot for black people.
It gave us hope.
It gave us hope. It did something for white people too. It did. Some white people was like, wait a minute. Some white people actually felt like the country's actually turning around.
Yeah, I was gonna say it made white people feel good too. Yeah,
because you gotta remember, white people are the ones that vote people into office out here. Well, we swing. We're the swing vote. Really, a lot of times. But white people, every white person is not like some. You know what? I would say that there's more white people that are apathetic when it comes to race.
Mm-hmm. Like, which is just as bad.
Yeah, which is just as bad. Yeah, but they're not actively seeking out ways to destroy black people.
No. The vast majority of white people in this country are not.
They're actively
trying to destroy.
When the people that are seeking out to destroy black people do something to black people, they just kind of turn their eye or let it go on, or just, hey, slavery. Most of the country didn't own slaves, but they just allowed slavery to happen and didn't say nothing. Like, oh, it's just the way it is.
So they were just as bad.
Or that's just how it goes down. Yeah, they're just as bad, but they're apathetic. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of apathetic white people voted for Obama.
Oh, tons of them.
Yeah, he beat Romney in a landslide.
Yeah, he definitely. So Tyrone said, lay out the accomplishments. Okay, so the one thing I hear when it comes to Trump is the prison reform.
The First Step Act.
The First Step Act. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. The First Step Act, first of all, was something that before Trump came into office, they were trying to get passed already.
I'm saying, explaining what it is.
Yeah. The First Step Act is reduced sentences for nonviolent criminals on the federal level. It also looked into alternative sentencing guidelines for first-time criminals. So no
mandatory. Trying to get rid of mandatory sentencing.
Right, for nonviolent criminals. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is something that they have been trying to get passed. Basically, ever since they started to realize what Biden's crime bill was doing.
I think this was Obama. I think this is when it started.
Yeah, they were trying to get it passed during Obama's years.
Yeah.
Trump just happened to be there when it landed on his desk, the desk of the president.
And he fast-tracked it.
He didn't endorse the bill. He didn't come out. I didn't hear him coming out speaking about you guys need to pass the First Step Act before the First Step Act passed. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear him campaigning on we need to criminal justice reform. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear him do any of that. Mm-hmm. It's just something that landed on his desk. He read it and said, okay.
It's an easy lob for him.
One thing we know about Trump, he does not care if you're in jail or not. Matter of fact, he probably would rather have you out because that's how you're going to make him more money, personally.
Possibly, yeah.
I don't think he cares if people. That's why he didn't have a problem pardoning people and things of that nature. It doesn't matter to him if you're in prison or not.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I hate trying to psychoanalyze Trump because he's so fucking terrible and his brain is fucking just, it's like full of cobwebs and shit. I think a lot of times people.
Is he Irish?
I don't know who.
Because remember Good Will Hunting? They said you couldn't psychoanalyze Irish people.
No, I don't know. I don't like trying to think about what Trump did or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
we'll just keep it.
He doesn't. The reason why is because like a lot of times people give him so much credit, and I'm like, people are like, Trump really just playing y'all. I'm like, nah, nigga. He is a rich white man that don't give a fuck.
And y'all don't give the same benefit of the doubt to other rich white people as y'all give to Trump.
Yeah, like
when other rich white people do some shit, you be like, oh, he's the devil. He's the devil. And Trump's like, well, maybe he's not.
Yeah. Maybe he's playing y'all. He's trying to get the media. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. He just tweeting shit because he in his bedroom and that's what he do.
Y'all think too much, y'all don't think enough.
like Trump is a fucking idiot, man. He's good at being an asshole. He's good at acting like an alpha man. You know what I'm saying? He's good. I'll tell you, to me, I'm saying. So he comes across like on television, like, yeah, he knows, confident, yada, yada, yada. Cool. But I'm talking about actually being good at it though. Like Obama was a way better politician. Yeah. Way better politician. Yeah. He understood the political landscape. Way better. Like Trump doesn't even need to understand this shit because he's a rich white dude. See what I'm saying? So he can get away. Trump got elected. He said, grab by the pussy. He fucking bankrupted 7 businesses. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he still got elected. And people, based on what he had done, literally would say, we need a businessman in office. I said, wait. This motherfucker bankrupt 7 businesses. Why would you want a person to run like if you were hiring for a position, right? A CEO position. You're a president or you're an owner of a company and you're gonna you want to hire a new CEO. The person that comes in and on their resume, yeah, I bankrupted 7 companies. You're gonna hire them? You go, oh, we need a fucking businessman. Shut the fuck up.
This is why what we were talking about, or this is piggyback on what we were talking about earlier. This is why they need equity in terms of the voting because the people around Trump have made him tons of money. He just knows how to hire the right people to make him tons of money. And even though he's inept as fuck, he still trips and falls and lands on $1 billion. That's the thing. So, so fuck it. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't act like, oh, these big owners, big time owners deserve to have all these billions of dollars.
They don't.
Trump.
Tyrone said Trump hides his meds under his tongue and spits in the nurse.
Oh, no doubt.
That motherfucker. Hey man, he on meds because every old person in America is on meds, but right. He's on meds for sure. I don't know what meds he's on.
He said I got to get on my level though.
But what the thing with Trump is he mixes his meds with alcohol and coke, and then it fucks him up because he definitely is a powderhead. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. That fool is Trump is erratic as fuck. But back to the point. So Trump
with the First Step
the
Act.
The First Step Act. So Trump didn't do shit for he didn't like you were just saying, he didn't push for it. It wasn't a part of his agenda ever. Actually, I think the person that really was the one pushing for it was Jared Kushner, if I'm not mistaken. He was the one that was like, "Hey, we got to do something about this." So it wasn't even him, but
probably because he's a Kim Kardashian fan or something.
No. This is before that. I mean, I wouldn't. This is before she started. Or
before the pardon thing, but she's always working with the group.
True.
She was one of the activists, and she had an ear with them.
Yeah, true. So I'm saying the thing about that is like that's cool, and that's fine, and that will help some Black people for sure, and I definitely could see that. Like if you just ask yourself, okay, so how many people are in prison right now in America? Like 3 million, right? Like 3.2 million or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, cool. Large amount. Way too many.
The most.
Okay. How many Black people are in prison in America? Let's say 40% of those are Black people, right? Just guess. This is off the top of my head. I'm gonna say 40%. 30%. I'm gonna say 30%.
That'd be about 1 million.
Okay, cool. So 1 million Black people are in prison right now. At least, right? Cool. So that's how many people I'm saying, and that's like the high. I'm going like high.
What we're talking about. Remember, it was first of all, it's a federal law, so it's on the federal level. It's not on state level. Most people are in state prisons. Only 11% of inmates are federal inmates. First of all, second of all, it's for nonviolent offenders, which a lot of Black people are in prison for nonviolent crimes. But that's just another sliver. You know what I mean? Because Black people, especially most Black people, by and large, are in state prison.
Yes.
The First Step Act helps federal prisoners.
Yes.
So let's keep it real.
Yeah. That's a very
only a small fraction of Black prisoners are being helped by the First Step Act. So we cannot,
but I like to even go extreme to give people every out to make it seem, you know what I'm saying? So that they know that I'm not trying to like.
It's still extreme. Hey, I'm gonna give you some data.
Yeah,
that way you can think about it a little bit more, because you might not want to give yourself that out.
Yeah,
you might want to think about this as objectively as possible. So I'm gonna arm you with as much information as possible. If you choose to ignore it,
whatever. Respect. So I like that. That's a very good point, though. So. That's and as far as I know, as far as I know, policy-wise, that's the only thing Trump has done that will positively affect Black people on a large scale, potentially, right? I can name stuff that he's done that is destroying the Black community, though. I can name at least 2 things off the top of my head, policies and people he put in power that are destroying the Black community or threatening the Black community right now.
Yep.
And one of them is Betsy DeVos. She wants to privatize school. Were we just talking about that? Or it was earlier, whatever. Like you have to pay to go to school in Mexico right now. Like I'm talking about poor people have to pay to go to school right now. That's basically what Betsy DeVos is going to do with the charter schools and all that shit. She's basically going to make it like. Yeah, she wants to make like basically there's going to be no more public schools. There's going to be charter schools and private schools, and that's it. So no regulations on schools, no level, no standard or whatever the fuck. Like they have to be at this standard or whatever. No. Charters, whatever. So that's one way that will greatly impact the Black community if she does that. That's one way. Mm-hmm. And then the other way is and the other person is the doctor, what's his name? The one that's in charge of HUD.
Oh, Carson.
Ben Carson. The shit he's doing with HUD is gonna. And I know people we like to think Ben Carson, Steve Mnuchin. We can go down a lot. That's what I'm saying. But I'm just naming those 2 things because those are 2 things that
Barr.
Barr. But I'm naming 2 things that I know for sure will greatly impact Black people. Like immediately, like it won't take 5 years, it won't take 10, it'll be like tomorrow. If the shit happens, you will see like, God damn, like look at this. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't see those types of things when Obama was in office. I didn't. He did. His shit was covert. His shit was like the long game. Like most Democrats do stuff that are about the long game. Republicans do shit that are like, we don't give a fuck. They're a bull in a china shop. They're gonna wreak havoc and get the fuck. Like that's what they want to do. They're smash and grabbers. That's what I would call them. If they rob a jewelry store, they're like broad daylight, come in there with Uzis, lay everybody down, smash everything up, grab their shit and get the fuck out.
It's interesting that you brought that up, that they're bull in a china shop, because they tried to hit the ultimate lick. And I don't know if any of you guys know this, but they tried to vote to take $2 trillion out of Medicare, out of the Social Security fund.
Mm-hmm.
$2 trillion. And 97% of Republicans voted for it. And if it wasn't for the Democratic majority in the House,
yep,
they would have hit a $2 trillion lick on people, hardworking Americans.
That's crazy.
They was trying to they were just like, let me shoot my shot. We're going to try to hit this lick and just slash. They were trying to do the ultimate slash to Social Security, which is that they're always trying to do on the low. They're trying to creep in and do that. They're really trying to get it to happen under a Democratic president, and in the name of austerity. That's why they're always talking about the deficit and stuff like that whenever a Democratic president comes in. But they tried to. They're talking about slash. They said, you know what? We might just be able to get away with it. They I don't know. They had the votes. They had their votes lined up.
Mm-hmm.
97% of Republicans voted to slash Social Security, what you get what you pay into on every single paycheck. And guess what they were going to do with that money? They were going to give it to their base, the donor class.
Okay, so Tyrone asked, how many billionaires were made under the Obama administration? I don't know. I know there was a lot of millionaires. I know there was like in the millions, like a lot of millionaires happened. But I don't understand the point of that question. So elaborate. Actually, like
someone said that, like right now in America, like 1,200 millionaires are made like every day.
My opinion don't depend on anyone to do anything where you go with the flow.
But you don't. That is a statement. I get it. Like people want to feel that and want to be that independent.
You have control over what.
But you got to understand that the reason that politics and who's in power is so important is because those people, by definition, they are the authority to allocate different values of stuff. They allocate what goes into your pocket. They allocate what goes into theirs. They pick winners and losers.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So don't depend on anybody. Great. That's a great personal mental attitude to have.
Yeah.
However,
on a systemic
level, are part of a socioeconomic structure that you need to be concerned about, because there are other people that are making certain decisions that directly affect your life every single day.
You can only do what you control, which is your life. That's not true. Because the reason why, I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example in the physical sense, right? So if you own a company like, I don't know, like Amazon or some shit like that, or you make a product, and the product you make, or you own a farm, perfect example. You own a farm, you own a pig farm, right? Because this really happens. So you own a pig farm, and the pig farm that you own creates tens of thousands of pounds of waste every year. Now you have to figure out how to get rid of that waste, right? What do? So you have to dig a big ass, ditch or whatever, so you could dump the waste in there, and then you got to create some filtration system or whatever. But while that waste is sitting in there, everybody in that surrounding area, can smell it. They inhale, and it's all in the soil and it's getting in their food, whatever the case may be, right? That affects a community. And you have no say in that. So if you live in this community, right? I, as the pig farmer, come over there. I industrialized it. I got this big company or whatever. I bought the land. I lobbied the right people. I greased the right wheels and shook the right hands, and they let me take up 10,000 acres on this land. right next door to you, where your kids go to school, where your grandmama live, and I dig this big ass ditch and I put all my filthy waste there, and now your granny is getting sick and now your kids are getting sick. You can't tell me that I only need to worry about. That's not how life works. Everything we do affects one another. I thought about this shit the other day when we were talking. We were talking on Soapbox Heroes with Tyrone. I thought about, because I used to think like even drugs, like I thought about like how like drugs, like I'm like, yeah, you know, it's cool if you do drugs, like not cool, but like that's your personal choice because that's you, right? And I'm all for deregulating. I mean, not deregulating drugs, but decriminalizing drugs and all that stuff. It doesn't take away from that, but I just thought about it after we got done talking about it. I was like, this is how connected people are. Even if you do drugs yourself, you snort hair, you shoot heroin, you fucking smoke crack or meth or whatever the case may be, I still have to deal with that shit potentially, right? If you do that shit and then you become violent, if you do that shit and now you can't work, I got to subsidize, you know what I'm saying? Like it's going to come out of our pockets. You go to jail, we got to pay for you. You steal from me. Like all that shit affects even the things.
You don't take care of your children.
You don't take it, like every little thing you do affects everybody. So we need to get out of this bubble that we live in. Like all I gotta care about is me and I'll be fine. That's not how it works. You should care about what your neighbor is doing. I'm not saying be nosy. You dig what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying like be low. What are you doing over there? I'm not talking about that. But we should care about what the government is doing. We should care about what the federal government is doing, what the local government is doing, what the state government is. We should care because that shit affects us every single day.
Right. And so when we're talking about, you know, these issues, you've got to understand that, you know, by turning a blind eye and being apathetic or anything like that, what you're doing is you're playing into the hands of those that actually that profit from hurting you, you know, if you do nothing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? So it's like being in a ring with a prize fight and somebody actually gets paid to knock you out and you don't even throw your hands up.
Getting your brains beat in.
You're in the ring, whether you want to be or not.
Tori says, guys, it's not black and white. It's no longer racial. It's about rich versus poor now. There is no middle ground.
Well, it's about all of those things. It's about rich and poor. It's about black and white.
Hold on. It's always been about rich and poor.
Right.
The black and white thing is relatively new because race is relatively new. The concept of race is a new concept. It's not like that. The concept of race didn't exist 700 years ago. We weren't calling each other black, white, Asian. That wasn't what we called each other. You know what I'm saying? We were way more tribal even. I wouldn't even say countrywide. We were where are you from? No. Now what country you from? Where are you? What part? Are you north? Are you south? Are you know what I'm saying? Like that's
where your grandma stayed.
Where your grandma stayed. Like gang shit. We was more like that. That's why gang shit isn't really weird when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you really, really break it down, it's just really just tribalism in an urban setting. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, it's always been about money. We're not saying that it's not about money. We know it's about money. That's why we just talked about capitalism and socialism. That was all about money. But we also are pointing out how racism keeps us divided. Sexism keeps us divided. Ageism a lot of isms keep us divided, not just money. You know what I'm saying? Because like we just pointed out, rich black people get the short end of the stick as well. You know what I'm saying? Middle class black people like so. There's a study. I always want to cite the study. I'll always cite the study until it changes. So and you even alluded to something where you showed us the Gatsby graph. Mm-hmm. Okay. So there's another study that was performed that was done right, and in the study it basically broke down. It showed the likelihood that a person who came from an affluent household, the likelihood that they will succeed or fail pretty much, right? Or like where they would fall, right? So like if the money line was here, then if they started off here, right? Would they go below or above that? How likely are they to stay there or go higher than that or go below that, right? Even when black people started off with the same money, with a 2-parent household in the same neighborhood and went to the same schools, got the same education, and so on and so forth, they were like 5 times more likely to end up in poverty. So you can't tell me that it's just about money. It's not just about money. I wish it was just about money, because we would just get money. I guarantee you.
Absolutely.
We would just get money. I would shut the fuck up and just get money. But I know it don't matter how much money I get, I'm gonna still be a nigga. At the end of the not to me.
Right. But to other people. Now Love Life says we should care, but only so much. We can control. They will do what they want. But that's the thing, Love Life. What is it that when you say we should only, that's a fact. But do you understand that you control more than you think? Because I'm getting a sense by you saying we'll just do it, it's almost like certain things you should just leave by the wayside. But actually, did you know that when we're talking about power? See, politics is about power. Okay? You have to understand power and understand what you have control over. Mm-hmm. But to me, I get the sense from your comment here that you don't understand what your power actually is. Mm-hmm. The people have a tremendous amount of power, but they've been convinced that the power actually lies at the top where the money's at.
Which makes no sense to me. That I don't even know how we could fall for that when we know that we say shit like power to the people and the people in the power. Like, and I'm like,
we've been taught to believe that.
It sounds cliche, but that's the truth though. If everybody stands up, you think they won't, there's nothing they can do.
Right.
It don't even take everybody though. I like for people to understand that it don't even take like we like to, I think a lot of times people feel so helpless because they think like, well, we never gonna get everybody. Like, you ain't gonna never get everybody to do nothing.
Did you know when the Revolutionary War happened, 66% of the people in America wanted to remain British colony? 66%. They want to make you think like, oh, it's this great revolution.
Like the whole country came together.
Was just mad. No, they didn't. As a matter of fact, the government, the U.S. of A. had to basically, first thing they had to do was pay back the people because they were angry and they were threatening to go back to England.
Once again, you're saying it'll never happen, but it happens all the time, though.
Why do you think? I want to hear the comment. Why do you think it will never happen? Why do you automatically assume that it will never happen when we do have historical evidence that it happened?
And it's happening right now all around the world. People are coming together. Look at what's happening in Mexico. The workers are striking. Look at what's happening in Hong Kong. People are like, you can just go down the line. It's happening all around the world.
Say your kid's getting picked on by a bully at school. Comes in the first day, like the kid's picking on me. You're like, okay, maybe try to work it out with him. Kid's picking on him again, picking him out again. You're gonna tell him you need to stand up for yourself, and he says to you, "Oh, that'll never happen. Just whoop my ass, and I just gotta accept the things that I can't change."
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, "No, that's a defeatist attitude."
Yep.
Well, that's what you're taking when you're saying, "Well, we just gotta do what we can control, and that's it. They're gonna win. No. Do you understand that the people have subdued governments? As a matter of fact, it's happening before your very eyes in certain parts of the world. I want you to go ahead and look into Honduras.
Shit. Wait. Look at what happened in America. We gotta go. Look at what happened with Trump. The whole country, the majority of the people in this country did not vote for Trump. He actually lost the popular vote. So even if in our fucked up system, he lost the popular vote. And he still won. It don't take the whole world to get to change and look at what happened by getting this one rusty, dusty old motherfucker in office. Look at what it did for the 1%. Look at how it empowered the racists in this country. Look how it pushed back or ramped up the sexism in this country. All the archaic fucking anti-abortion laws that are popping off across, like taking away women's rights. Like this shit that didn't take a whole country full of people.
This is the ism renaissance.
For real. The isms are back.
Right. And those protests only last a couple of days, then back to normal. See, the thing about a protest is you don't look at a protest as a singular event. You have to look at it in the context of everything else that's happening. Because, a protest ain't nothing if I was just to walk out right now and bang a big old drum. All I do is wake up the neighbors, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, oh, why are you protesting me? I didn't do it, right? Yeah. But what if while I'm protesting, I'm bringing light to a situation? One of the people that I see, he's an organizer. He starts organizing the community around what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Another person, he's a politician. Or they go to Congress and they lobby. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wait a minute, we got to get behind this. And see, it starts things off. See, when people understand that there's a public outcry for something, it takes organization, it takes effort, it does take willpower, but it is possible. If it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
The protest, that's true. The protest that happened in Mexico, they gave in to the Mexican workers. Like
the protest that happened in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just the lady they gave in.
Yeah.
They was protesting for about 80 days. They were just like, no, we're not going nowhere.
Yeah. And, the yellow vest protest going on and still going on. That didn't happen in a day. They've been doing that. That's been like 3 months strong now.
And I'll tell you a failure of the neo. See, the thing is that when these things start to happen in America, there's always a failure of people to connect. We had a neoliberal in office during Occupy Wall Street. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about Occupy Wall Street, that was the beginning of a movement. That if the president would have gotten up and breathed instead of sending troops to break shit up, and y'all got to get out the park shit. If he would have said, you know what, no, we sympathize with these people, and we're going to breathe oxygen into this fire, Occupy Wall Street would probably be something by now. There would have never been room for a Trump.
Yeah,
people would have already known what the hell they're trying to do.
But Obama came into office and was like,
"Oh no, extinguished shit."
The little motherfuckers on the street, let's quiet them down.
Right.
And the dope thing about the Occupy Wall Street movement was, they're literally, if you go look up the pictures, everybody it was black, fat, skinny, poor, white. You know what I mean? Like it was all the demographics were there except for the 1%. It literally represented the whole country. It was not just right-wing white people. It wasn't just left-wing, it was everybody was there because we understood, because we were so pissed off at what happened with the banking system. Right? With just the crash that averted, or whatever. Which we should have let the shit crash. We should have let the banks fail. Why not? Isn't that capitalism?
Right.
Everybody preaches about capitalism, but then as soon as it's time for the systems to fail, let the businesses, whatever the business is, because the bank is a business. Oh, no, we can't let them fail. They're too big to fuck that. Nothing's too big to fail.
The people are too big to fail.
The people are the only thing that's too big to fail.
Right.
The country, the government can fail. Don't give a fuck. Any institution can fail. I don't care how big you think it. Any institution should be allowed to fail, because that's the whole point. If it doesn't fail, then you don't get a new one. You see what I'm saying? And that's why the banking crisis is even worse now. The banks are even bigger now. There's even less banks now. They're doing the same shit they were doing before, because we didn't allow them to fail. We didn't allow them to fail, and on top of it, nobody got punished for it. They actually got rewarded for it. So I don't understand. That was something that Obama did that was egregious. Now,
interest-free loans.
real quick, I want to also touch on this, because we should be talking about the difference too. So also, Obama lied. He lied when he said he was going to prosecute the bankers. Mm-hmm. He did it. Just like Trump lied and said he was going to clean out the swamp.
Right.
Same verbiage. But what does that tell you about the American citizens? That we don't want. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to get rid of the bad guys.
Right.
We want the outsider. We want the person that's going to come in and actually clean things up.
In a nutshell, we'll show you why the Democrats and Republicans, they don't oust each other or nothing like that. Because when one person's secret come out, everybody's coming to the forefront. Everybody got trash on each other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And there's things that they're not telling any of the people. But as soon as somebody come out with the real, it's going to be finger pointing everywhere. Everybody's going to be wrapped in scandals. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And very few of your beloved politicians will make it out unscathed.
Love, like she said, who owns most business in inner city and why?
I don't know. What company?
You mean like yeah? What do you mean? Like what racially? What are we talking about? Specific companies? What do you mean? Tyrone said deregulation. That's what everyone hasn't been paying attention to. No, I've been paying attention to the deregulation.
Yeah.
I actually pointed out the fact that,
especially from an environmental standpoint.
Well, also from an economic standpoint, deregulating the banks and they're preying on people all over again. That's one of the reasons why we're set up to have another crash right now, because of all of this deregulation. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of it. The tariffs, the deregulation.
Right.
Before
you regulate something, think about what was the regulation. You know, we need Frank Dodd back. Really. You know what I mean?
What, that piece of legislation you mean?
Yeah. Because we need Frank Dodd. No. There's a reason why everyone's calling for Frank Dodd back.
No, it was
because trust me, Big Wall Street there's like no check. There's no check right now for Wall Street at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Frank Dodd puts an important regulation on Wall Street where, you know,
Glass-Steagall.
We
really need Glass-Steagall back. We really need Glass-Steagall back. Absolutely. Get rid of Citizens United, Glass-Steagall. Like, that would change the whole political landscape. If we could get money out of politics, it would change overnight. Like we would like politics. Like, I mean, like when I say we, I mean the majority of people who they don't care about politics. I know why you don't care about politics, because you don't see any change. You know what I'm saying? So I totally understand. But if we got rid of money, if you took money out of politics, you would see a change.
Right.
You actually, because the people in office, they would know that they literally have to listen to their constituents, or they will not win.
Right. So under Trump, a lot of the regulations that were done during the Obama period to fix after the crash, to get back on economic track in a way, are being undone at this point. Mm-hmm. Okay. Other things. There's another because the changes are the stark differences between them, right? It shows the changes show the stark difference, so you can decide what's better. Now, do you think that the world is safer now?
No,
because when one of the first things Trump did was get out of the nuclear deal with Iran. That was one of the most destructive things you could ever do.
Yeah.
And the fact that Obama ever even had a deal with Iran is because they had been trying to get a deal with Iran since
Ayatollah.
What's his name? Former president.
Which one? Bush?
Before Carter. President Carter.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
President Carter.
That was when Ayatollah took over. That was late 70s. Yeah.
They helped the Ayatollah take over, and then they tried to make a deal with him, and he was like, "Oh no, sorry suckers.
Yeah.
Sorry suckers, that's to Israel. Fuck you if you down with Israel. Fuck you too." They basically just gave him one of those, like, they've been trying to get him out since, but they're like, well, coups are expensive.
Yeah. Nah, they know they can't do that shit now in Iran. Iran too.
They couldn't foment the discord that they need.
Yeah.
People love
that. That's how you get coups. Yeah.
The Ayatollah, no, they didn't even love the Ayatollah, because Iran, trust me, it's a terrible regime of people. The Ayatollah was way too strong.
Yeah.
He's way too strong for the people and the people are like, we rather just live with it
than America
than try to rise up with it, because there's also a return to values there where they don't want to be like the Western world, and they know. You look at Iraq, you look at Libya, they Syria. Know that this is what their country's gonna like. We either put up with the Ayatollah, he's gonna die one day,
Syria.
Or we can look like Syria, we can look like Iraq, we can look like. That's what they don't want.
Get bombed out,
and they would rather fight America than to fight the Ayatollah.
Absolutely.
Because
at least the Ayatollah is them.
Yeah,
he's shitty, but he's them.
Right.
We own a foreign.
And they can look forward to a day where the Ayatollah is not around anymore.
Yeah.
They can actually look forward. There's actually a lot of pressing for, elections and things of that nature in Iran right now. There's groups that are actually,
Yeah.
looking for nonviolent solutions.
So I'm going to say this. So I'm going to say overall, I'm going to give my vote. Obama was a better, he's a better president than that's not even a debate to me. And I once again, don't give a fuck about
That's
Obama.
not saying much.
But they ain't saying much though. But Obama, here, I'll even go this far. Obama was the best president in the last 70 years. Since FDR. I would like just straight up. I think he definitely was the smartest. he was definitely he came in a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
He stabilized the country. Obama was in office for 8 years.
If we could have had more JFK, it probably would have been.
I don't know about JFK. If you go,
he wanted to take it to the international banks. He was one of the ones who wanted to return to the silver standard.
If you read, I read it was a interview that Malcolm did about JFK. They asked him some questions about JFK at the time, and that's how I like to really look at shit. I like to look at shit like I like to listen to people who were going through it in the moment because to me they give you like I need that snapshot of like
what was going,
what was really going on, right?
What were they thinking?
And who better to get it from than Malcolm, right? And Malcolm said he lied. Malcolm said he pulled an okie doke on us. He said he was going to do X, Y, and Z, got in office and didn't do shit, and nothing has changed. And nothing did. So I'm gonna ride with Malcolm on this one. I'm gonna say that I think he was being a politician, and because because the more I even research JFK, I realized that he wasn't shit. His brother, I think Bobby maybe was the like wild card. I think that's why they killed. I think they killed JFK because of Bobby, and I think they killed Bobby because Bobby was gonna be. I think Bobby wasn't gonna fold. I think Bobby was gonna be real. You know what I'm saying? But JFK tried to execute the Bay of Pigs, and that motherfucker wasn't. He Vietnam, like, you know what I mean? Like, he did a lot of janky shit, for sure.
The country, to me, he was a president during a time where the country was hella divided. And you had, like, he won, he beat Nixon, but he had those type of people breathing out his neck.
True.
And warmongers, he probably was one of them. And then they had the warmongers breathing on your neck, you know what I mean? And like, we got to stamp out communism in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah.
That was probably one of the main priorities of the people at that time.
Absolutely.
Due to just coming out of the Red Scare, just continuing the Red Scare. Depending on your needs or your wants and benefits, you will agree with who's in office. Okay.
No, I'm gonna say no because I don't look at things like. Here's what I'm saying. I'm doing fine. You know what I'm saying? Like we good, right? Like my family is cool. Trump or no Trump. You know what I'm saying? Obama or no Obama. We good, right? I do the shit based on the poor. I look at the marginalized first, and I look at what are we doing to help them first. Mm-hmm. And then if we're not doing anything to help them, that's where I start my judgment. You know what I'm saying? And Trump ain't doing shit to help the marginalized. Obama didn't do much, if anything, to help the marginalized. But you pointed out something. You mentioned healthcare, and even though there's 40 million people that don't have healthcare, to this day, and one of the reasons why was because once a lot of people got on it, they saw what it was and they got off. I think there was a time where like a group of people, it wasn't 40 million, it was probably lower, but then like a lot of the young, like the people between like 25 and 40 just got off of that shit because they were like, I'm healthy, like I don't need that. You know what I mean?
Also, they dropped the portion that taxes or that penalizes you.
Yeah.
They dropped that portion where it penalizes you for not having insurance.
Yeah. So once they did that,
a lot of people stopped paying for insurance.
Exactly. But no, I don't. It's not that I'm basing it on like, well, I'm doing good and I did good under Obama, therefore I like Obama the most. That's how selfish people think. But I'm not selfish in that way. I'm selfish in other ways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of politics. You know what I mean? My wife would tell you I'm selfish for sure. But I'm saying I'm not selfish. When it comes to when we talk about humanity, I'm not selfish. I don't look at things through the lens of like, well, this benefits me. Right. So therefore I gotta like this person because they did something cool for me. Right. And that's what I fucking despise when I talk. That shit I hate when I talk to people. A lot of times that's what we get. It's like, well, I've been doing great. When he made them tax cuts, I started doing good. My business started, and I'm like, I mean, that's cool, but these terrible though, right? Like, can't you just be like, I mean, yeah, he hooked me up, but or that part was good for me, but I don't like the motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like my mama had a boyfriend when I was growing up. I didn't like him. He was bad. He was a bad person. He was bad for me. He was bad for my mom. But he would go out of his way every now and again to buy me a Snicker bar, and he would take me out to dinner, and you know what I'm saying? Like he bought me a new pair of shoes and helped me buy. That was cool, right? Those things were cool, but he wasn't cool. I still knew the difference. I still knew it don't matter if you buy me a candy bar, nigga. You still a piece of shit.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? Like, so that's what we got to get over. It's like, oh, they gave me something shiny. They must be good. No. He's still terrible. Trump is still fucking sorry. Obama was bad. You know, they didn't do shit for us.
And Love Life, I want to just kind of, you know, to go back to what you had said earlier about, you know, just doing what you focus on, what you control and things of that nature, which again is a good individual, type of, you know, mentality to have in terms of individual interactions, right? Or localized interactions. But the reason that people take that same stance politically is because most Americans, when you think about it, what has fomented this type of attitude towards politics is the four and more, my four and no more type of attitude towards voting and political participation. People just looking inside of their own family, looking inside of their own house, seeing what's going on, and then voting in terms of what's going to be best for just their own family, but not understanding, you know, what's going to be best for your neighbor too.
And voting like that is also a short-term solution usually, right? Like it's never, you know what I mean?
Because
like,
somebody else comes in and they take all that away from you. See, it prevents people from actually attacking the source of the problem. Humans are primates, okay? Primates, one attribute of primates that you don't find other animals often is altruism.
Yeah, right.
I think the last time I said the same thing, you did the same damn thing.
Nah.
Okay, deja vu.
But deja vu, bro.
But altruism is, you know what I mean, the ability to put your needs aside for the larger good, right? You're sacrificing something for the greater good. Primates have that ability.
I was gonna say, I know, primates do that.
Primate. That's how we know. One of the ways we know we're related.
Got you.
Altruism is something that we have in common with other primates.
I bet you a lot of animals do that. I bet you dogs do that.
Well, social animals. They did mention wolves as well. Yeah. So social animals do that. They do things for the greater good of the pack.
Even though in the immediate for them, it's probably cool. Like if I do this, it'll work for me, but it would negatively impact the group. Or if I do this, it will work better for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times in our society though, I want people to understand this. They made it to where it's dog eat dog. You know what I'm saying? They made it like that on purpose so that you don't give a fuck about nobody else. Right.
And they break things down to that level. For instance, I was talking about healthcare with a woman. She was a conservative. I brought up, you know, everyone needs to have healthcare. Mm-hmm. It's a human right. Yeah. Everyone.
Human.
You know? She's saying, well, if you can't afford healthcare, you should have made better choices in life. So whenever there's a systemic problem brought up, like healthcare, everyone can't afford healthcare. Some people don't have access to healthcare based on their ability. They don't have the ability to pay. Conservatives and the conservative argument always makes it a personal problem. So that you are it's about you personally. When and it takes the focus off of the systemic, because what they don't want is rich, wealthy, powerful people, they don't want you fucking with the system that made them rich and powerful. They want you looking at yourself. That's why if you're poor, you either don't work hard enough, you're lazy, or you're dumb, or there's something morally wrong with you. Not, well, this system of capitalism creates income disparity, so this is kind of normal.
Yeah.
They don't see when you try to attack income disparity, or you need help from the government in the form of unemployment insurance, Social Security, or anything like that. Yeah, they're like, well, you need to do this. They regulate welfare. Like These people that are on welfare and stuff, you got all these fucking forms to fill out. You always got to check in with these people. It's like they're so on like, oh, well, welfare fraud, trying to prevent fraud. Yeah. It's like if you guys try to prevent fraud that much on Capitol Hill as you do in these motherfucking somebody on welfare's house, exactly. There's so much oversight. You guys don't do that. They don't do it to the rich and powerful.
No, they just give them the money and no questions asked. They just gave Trump $80 billion to extend his military budget.
They gave him
no questions after the Pentagon lost fucking $2 trillion. They don't even know where the fucking money's at.
Exactly, and they just gave Trump that $800 million to expand the dog pens that they're keeping these migrants in, right? Yeah, and give them some more toilets to drink out of, right? No questions asked. After they talk about how terrible the situation is, the conditions are. They made no caveats, no compromises, they used no leverage whatsoever. They just gave him the money.
What's classism, Tyrone? Also, Love Life says there's millions of people from other countries that come here with nothing and get educated and open businesses. Like I asked you, how are they able to do that? Will be my first question. Like, okay, so
wait, this is a xenophobia alert.
No, for sure it is, 100%. It's a lot of xenophobia in that statement.
Because I already see that yet millions of Americans have nothing.
Yeah,
that's a xenophobia alert. So.
Yeah, like okay, so let's do this. So, a reason why I'll give you an example. A reason why is because let's use Asians just in general. Any group of Asians you want to talk about. Filipinos, Chinese, I don't give a crap, right? Any Asian group of people, right? Asians, when they come to America, they aren't targeted like Black people are. We just talked about racism. So let's say they come, they're poor, Black people are poor, Mexican people are poor, whatever. Mexican people are targeted, Black people are targeted. Poor white people are not targeted by the police. They're not Asian people are not targeted by the police at the same rate that we are. I'm not saying that poor white people aren't targeted. There are certain white people, because I've heard white people talk about like poor white people that are on drugs, and they'll tell you like, yeah, I've been harassed 19,000 times.
Well, they have their own term, white trash.
Yeah, and they target them. No doubt about it.
You can be rich and white trash now.
For sure, you can't be rich and white trash. Trump, no. So so that is a reason why they can come to America and flourish, because they are allowed to operate within the system. They're not going to be roadblocked every single fucking step of the way. Also,
they come from poverty and they want more and do it.
No, that's not true. They don't want. You think Black people don't want? That's what I'm saying. This is when I get into these, like, I start wondering, like, do people really understand what they're saying? There's
tons of Black people come from poverty,
and you don't think they want more? Like, I don't understand it.
Half of our music is about getting money, getting something that we don't have ready access to. Also, our culture is around. We dream about money.
What about the people who are targeted and still make it? There are many. There are many, but it's not the majority.
No, there's many in number. If you count them all up, what is the percentage?
Yeah, it's all about the rate. I don't care if 10,000 Black people make it, but there's freaking 50 million Black people and 10,000 of them make it. It's like, see, 10,000 of them made it. It's like, yeah, 10,000 of them make it. I tell people this all the time, man. The way these institutions work is like this, dude. They're like a fucking fist, right? And they're trying to pick up rice. People are the rice, right? The system. So you got the prison, you got the education. You know what I'm saying? You got the monetary, banking, whatever. Break it down, right? These are the systems. Your fingers. They grab as many people as they can, and they try to hold you in there. You try to grab a whole thing of rice. Some people gonna slip out of there. You can't get every single, when you go grab something like that, not everyone is gonna. So of course some people are gonna slip through. Of course some people are gonna make it. And I would go a step further and say that the system even promotes certain people because they know that that's good too, to let one through.
Look, what is the percentage of that are willing to sacrifice?
You can never do a study on that.
Let's put it this way: there are a lot of people that are dead or in prison because they're willing to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, you can never.
They're willing to do whatever it takes.
You can never put a study. There's no study to question if people want it or like.
Now y'all sound like the defeatists. What are you talking
Nah,
about?
man. We sound like people who understand what the problem is, and we understand that the problem ain't inherently just in us.
And it's not personal, right? It's not a personal. Y'all are doing exactly what the conservatives do. They make it a personal problem. This is a systemic problem. That's the whole thing. You're looking at anecdotal evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that person made it, or another person made it, but we're talking about a system. What is the probability
that if
you say, somebody was willing to do whatever it takes and he made it? There are people that are willing to do whatever it takes and didn't make it. What is the probability?
But Tyrone says it's a mixture. It's a mixture, right? I agree for people to fail as miserably as a lot of people fail. It ain't just one thing. It ain't just the system. You know what I'm saying? Like, I agree with that. It's not just the system.
Right.
But even in that regard, if it's a mindset, it's probably due to what they experience within that system. It's probably set by the system itself. So what I'm saying is that if you live in a place where you don't see people succeeding a lot, then how will you know how to succeed? If you live in a place, it's a cultural thing, but the culture is dictated by the system, by the circumstances the system has created. That's what I'm saying. So if they put you in a project and put you stacked up on top of each other and then over police you and then pollute your water, pollute your air, don't give you any opportunities, and then you don't see anybody making it, and then you then start to think like, well, maybe I can't make it. And then the next generation goes, well, maybe I can't make it. Then you turn around and go, oh, see, that's a personal. What the fuck? No, that's the system that did that.
You know what? Andrew Yang put it real simple. He said, I look at Donald Trump and I think, what can he beat me at?
What do you mean?
What I mean is this. Look at Obama, because we're still comparing Obama and Trump.
Yes.
Obama went to Harvard, right?
Yep.
He was the president of the Harvard Law Review, the first black man to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was, by all accounts, an exceptional human being. He's brilliant, brilliant dude, a masterful politician.
Yeah, he was the smartest president.
And he became the president of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even got to go to Trump. We don't even want to. Let's go to George Bush, the dude that was president before him.
Junior.
C student.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of bullshit.
Failed company.
Mm-hmm. A mediocre dude.
Mm-hmm.
A mediocre dude. President of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
If Obama was mediocre like George Bush, or if he was anything like like Trump at all, he would have never been the president.
He would never have gotten to Harvard.
He would never. Right.
He never would have gotten into Columbia.
None of that.
Unless he played basketball or something.
He wouldn't have done none of that stuff. But because of the positioning, right? Positioning, birthright, whatever.
Yeah.
These mediocre people can rise to meteoric heights.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we got one black person that the rest of the country deemed good enough to be the fucking president of the United States. Yeah. And he was really one of the best, like exceptional. He had to be exceptional. So that means that only the most exceptional of us can get to where even their mediocre people can get to.
So
do you see the comparison here?
Tyrone said both of you are thriving or attempting to. Why? Why are we attempting to thrive? Like, because I think everybody attempts.
That's
to thrive.
Human nature.
The majority of black people I know, the majority of people that live in the hood, they work just like they actually work more hours than everybody else. So are they not attempting to thrive? You know what I'm saying? Some of them are just trying to survive though. Also, I got lucky. I know for a fact Robert got lucky.
Super lucky. Sure.
Robert got luckier than me, but I got lucky. I got really fucking lucky that I'll be honest with you, man. I feel like with both of us, I could almost just we were just born like this. Like I'm saying, like genetically, like I wasn't built, like I wasn't gonna be some criminal. I wasn't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up around gangs and I was gang affiliated. I did stupid shit. I did all that. But I wasn't. I'm a born leader. I'm not a follower. I'm not a born follower, I should say. I don't know if I'm a born leader or not. I'd rather just do whatever fuck, do my own thing. I'm not a born follower. That's just not in me. It's not something I had to learn to do or not do. I just wasn't. I was like that. I have a natural high aptitude, generally speaking, when it like I'm good at. I can figure stuff out. Really, you know what I'm saying? Like these are just natural things. I was not a great student, and it wasn't because I wasn't smart enough. I was talking to Robert about this earlier. It was because I didn't have any fucking foundation at home. I had a mama that didn't care. My daddy wasn't there, nigga. Straight up and down. Like that's how that shit worked for me. And who the fuck knows where I would have been if I had a mama that cared and or a daddy that was there or a grandmama that was there and cared. You know, whatever you want to call it, whoever you want to do it. But you can't blame a child. You can't blame a 13, 14, 15, 10, 9. You can't blame them because this is when the shit starts. You dig what I'm saying? You can't blame them and then be like, well, they just don't want it. What the fuck are we talking about? They're kids. Whatever they don't want, they were learned that shit was taught to them. You know what I'm saying? I got lucky. I survived in the hood long enough to realize that there was more to it than this. I got out and now I'm here. That's how the shit worked. But the vast majority of people, it don't work like that.
Which is y'all are willing to do what you have to do. That's why y'all thrive and simple. But look, that's the thing. You, Tyrone, you work harder than a billionaire. Why don't you have $1 billion?
Same shit, man. Or $1 million.
$1 million. You work harder than millionaires for sure. Why don't you have $1 million?
Millions. Multiple millions.
You work harder than them, dog. You have your own business. You're on radio all the damn time. You know what I mean?
It starts with, Tyrone, hold on. So what is it? Statistically speaking, what do they say about prisons? The school to prison pipeline, right? What do they say? Third grade, we could tell how many, we could look at third graders and we can tell how many prisons we need to build. You dig what I'm saying? Prisons they need to build. They look at motherfuckers in the third grade kids. And that's how they know how many prisons they can build. And you saying that we not talking about kids. It starts when you a fucking kid. If you think you just because you hit 18, you just gonna figure it out, or just because you 40, now you just gonna figure. No, that's not how it works. If you never knew it, then how the fuck would you ever know it? If nobody ever taught it to you, you're never gonna know, man.
Impossible.
It's impossible to know. And you can sit there and be like, well, you 40 years old, you can figure it out. How? The foundation still ain't laid. Just because you older don't mean that, all of a sudden the foundation is there. You still ain't got the foundation. You still ain't went to school. You don't have to educate. They robbed you. They robbed you when you were a kid, and now you pay for it when you're an adult. And now you're blaming the adult for what they got robbed for when they were a kid. I don't do that. That's not how my brain works. I look at it and I go, more than likely, I'm not saying with every single person because I don't do the like random anecdotal shit. But the majority of people, it started when they were a kid. They didn't have the opportunities. They ended, and they maybe they had one opportunity and they didn't seize it. But goddamn, how fuck all the people we were talking about that earlier. The majority of people who succeed, they get tons of opportunity. They don't just get one.
Right.
They get chance after chance. Every day they wake up is a new fucking opportunity.
That's why when you hear about a story of somebody that made it from nothing, they put you on fucking TV. They tell it to all kinds of people because it's a fucking 1 in a million type of shit, dog. It's literally 1 in a million type of shit.
What are you thinking we're saying? Why do you think we're saying it's impossible? Nobody is saying that. We're just talking about for the general public, for the masses.
It's not impossible to know. Do you know? But do you know? It's because it's not about what's possible. It's about what's happening.
What am I doing that's anecdotal? I'm just giving you stories, but the shit that I'm telling you actually is they do studies on this shit. I didn't just make up the study of in the third grade. They study this shit. They said, all right, look, this is how we're gonna build our prisons. We're gonna look at what's going on with kids in the third grade, and then that's how we know how many fucking criminals we're gonna have in the future if they're fucking up in the third grade.
Well, because they have to do that because it takes years to build a prison.
That too, but how would they know? But how would they know? Why would they base it on the third grade? Is my point. You see what I'm saying? If it don't start when you were a kid, if everybody has the same opportunity, everybody can make it. Then why are they starting with third graders? You know what I'm saying?
And look, and if everybody can make it, but people aren't making it, why are so many people choosing not to make it?
I know. Now this is what
because obviously they're choosing if everybody can make it. Apparently there's super amounts of people that are just choosing not to make it.
Bro, mindsets can change. I agree. Mindsets can change, but all the mindset changing in the world ain't gonna change the system until our mindset is to change the system.
That's right. See, that's the whole thing. That's the thing. Mindsets, people are changing. People change. That's right. But just because someone changes their mindset doesn't mean that the system is still going to allow for that, right? People change all the time. I get it. But we have to change we have to make the changes systemically. And the mindset that needs to change now is a mindset of putting it on an individual more than the system. More than necessary, more than the system. Exactly. The system the system itself, just by virtue of it being in place, guarantees that certain sections of the population will not make it. Yep. Guarantees it. Let's give these people a fighting chance. The fighting chance that you think everybody already has. Let's expand the amount of people that have that fighting chance. Let's expand the people that are capable of putting their mind to work. Let's expand that. Let's expand that opportunity. Because if you can look in history and you don't see a systemic effort to take opportunities away from people based on whether it be class, whether it be race. Exactly. If you don't see that, then you're blind. You are in a mentality you're in a mentality that will allow you to your future generations to be marginalized by the same system.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to recognize the problem. The problem isn't in us. The problem is us. This is why I blame us. I blame us for not realizing what the real problem is, or even coming together,
or talking too much about the statistics of the problem without genuinely having a solution. Yeah. Because I hate to talk about the ADOS movement because I don't want to feel like I'm picking on them all the time, mm-hmm. but I got to bring them up in that. Mm-hmm. Because for some reason they just want some stipend to join into capitalism. Yeah. And they don't understand that capitalism is more than just money, more than just having capital. There's systemic problems in the capitalism being practiced in America that I would hate to see reparations given and it not generate any kind of generational wealth. Yeah. Because of the system in place. Yeah. Because we didn't change the systems around.
Of course, and here's the thing though. Of course, both of us want the best for our kids and ourselves, and we work hard and all that stuff. But so does every fucking body else I know personally. And yet, the vast majority of people aren't getting ahead. What I'm talking about, I'm not talking about everybody having generational wealth because that's not realistic in this system. But what we all can have is healthcare, education, clean air, clean water. Like, if everybody had that, then we would see who really doesn't give a fuck, who really don't want to try hard, who really, you know what I'm saying?
That's when it would matter.
That's when it would matter. But for today, you're not about to sell me on some, you just got to change your mind. And like I said to you before, man, I said, if I'm talking to you on a personal level, of course I'm going to be like, dog, come on, man, you got to get it together. What can I do to help you? Blah, 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 blah. That's what I would say to you as a person right now. If you were asking me, what can I do to better my, like, I would be like, read, exercise, eat right. As a person, that's what I would be telling. I wouldn't be talking about no system shit. You know what I'm saying? Because how is that going to help you? Right. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm talking about how we can change things, what do you want me to do? Just tell people to get up, get out, and get something? Like, what is my approach? If I'm trying to help a lot of people at once, the majority of people, how do we make people believe that all they need to do is just pull themselves up by their bootstraps?
Because all I really hear in terms of solutions, I'm going to go to the Black community. So, Tori, if you're watching, I'm going to the Black community here because we're at the bottom of the totem pole in this, and we're Black. I got to talk to Black people about this for a second. All I hear is do what the white people do.
That's the stupidest shit.
We gotta have our own businesses. Yeah, we have. Do you know how many black business owners there are? There's plenty. We gotta have our own hospital. You know what I mean? Why don't they start their own league? Why don't they start their own NFL league?
But okay,
like, what are you talking about, man?
This is Tyrone. You like we talk about this all the time. Like when we were talking about like with Jay-Z or whatever. You're doing what people do when we criticize like a rich person. You're saying like, well, what are you doing? It's like, what are you talking about? What do you think I'm saying? You act like I'm saying I want to be a millionaire. I don't. I really don't even want to do that type of shit. I'm doing fine. I'm doing good. Like I am doing what I feel like I want other people to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm eating right. I exercise. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm all right. We all right. What I want for people, I want for the bare minimum of people. I want this to be the bare minimum standard.
Right.
But how I'm living, I know that sounds crazy because people go, "Oh, you want the bare?" Yeah, I want everybody to have health care. I want your kids to be able to go to school. I want you to live in a safe neighborhood. I don't want the police harass. Like these things seem pretty simple. That's what I want for everybody. That's the big. These are like the big. This is like breathing to me. Like this is what I want for everybody. And then if you want to make $1 billion, I'll make $1 billion. If you want to be a bit like that's your dream to be some crazy bit. Hey man, do your thing.
The whole point is we should not live in a country where some people do not have anything and then someone has $100 billion.
Yeah.
And the reason that you can have both existing in the same nation is because capitalism. So we attack capitalism because that's the only way you can have both of those things. Someone with 115 billion and then somebody living on the streets with nothing and nobody.
Yeah.
Because it used to be back in the day, the king and the tribe, when everybody was in tribes and stuff like that tribes were rich or poor. Do you understand what I'm saying? But the king wasn't super rich while everybody else was super poor.
Yeah.
In the tribal days. Mm-hmm. But their feudalism was the start of that, where you had very, very rich lords and stuff like that, while everybody else was suffering.
Yeah.
But before that, it was, you know what? They didn't have stuff like currency and things of that nature. They were, I'm going to hunt and I'm bringing back something for the family, for the flock. Yeah. And you're contributing. While I was out hunting, you're over here cooking something. Mm-hmm. You're over here gathering something. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're over here taking care of kids. Everybody's kids. You're over here doing this.
Yeah.
And they were doing that stuff together because they were being altruistic.
Yeah.
They were putting aside, they weren't just thinking about themselves, they were thinking about everybody. Mm-hmm. But capitalism rewards those that think about themselves. It says, oh yeah, I just gotta make sure me and my people are straight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Something. But also capitalism tries to destroy you on an individual level when you don't get the same results as someone else.
Yeah.
But everybody's not on the same level because capitalism, again, depends on a social caste system. And so you can't compare yourself to the white dude that was born rich and expect you're going to get the same results as him, even if you work twice as hard as him. Yeah. But they try to sell you a dream and tell you anybody can become that guy. You see that billionaire guy right there? Anybody can become him. No, anybody with his opportunity can become him.
But okay, so Tyrone said, "They asked for the solution. I told you, and that's good." Prince, people have to want it for themselves. Want what, man?
Yeah.
People do want health care. People do want an education. Like, what are you talking about?
What do they want?
They want those things. Like, what do you think?
There's somebody right now rationing their insulin, and they want to take their regular dose of insulin because they're afraid they might go to sleep and never wake up.
You think people want to be living paycheck to paycheck? You think people want to not make a living wage? You know what I'm saying? Like, you think people want these things? Like I don't understand that. And if just all you got to do is just change your mindset. And no. There aren't enough jobs. So if everybody's mindset changed tomorrow, and everybody started trying to strive for these things in this system, and nothing changed in the system, just everybody's mindset changed. How would we attain these things? It can happen.
Think about it like this, Tyrone. If you hit the lottery tomorrow and you have $400 million and you went and bought you a nice house, someone would still have to do your lawn. You'd have a gardener.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that gardener would be getting paid a gardener's wage. But you still need your grass cut.
Yeah.
So, but because they chose to be a gardener, maybe it's something they really love to do.
Yeah.
They have to compromise on their level of healthcare, on their kids' education, on where they live, the safety of where they live. They have to compromise on those things. But when people are given basic needs and we decide that some things are not for profit and that everybody as a human, guess what? People can be creative. People can start businesses if they want to be entrepreneurs.
Yep.
People can be a gardener for the sake of, I love doing this. People can do what they love and still have their basic needs. And yeah, I'll never be rich being a gardener, but they can decide that. They can live with that. Then you can say to people, hey, you know what I mean? If you want to better yourself, it's in your hands. But as long as there are systematic things in place to prevent people from having or taking advantage of opportunities, you cannot boil it down to, well, he just doesn't want it bad enough.
That's a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow, man.
You can't do it. It's impossible. That's not the way the world works.
That's not realistic. Like it's less realistic to me. It seems less realistic to assume that a person doesn't want those things than it is to assume that, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like it seems harder for me to wrap my brain around. Like
you can't
people just don't want it.
You can't assume that a dog that eats every day wants food more than a hungry ass dog, because they don't. That hungry dog wants it more.
Yeah, he wants
but guess what? The dog that eats every day has a master that puts the bowl out for him every day. Yep. So these are different opportunities to eat.
Both things are happening at the same
that's
time.
what's going on.
Us. Also, there are a lot of people who don't want more than what's easy. Man, okay, so that's your point. That's not my point. My point is that not everybody wants or cares about generational wealth. Not everybody wants or cares about driving a nice car or living in a big, like not everybody, and I love the people who don't give a fuck about that shit, because I too am like that. I don't give a fuck about most of that stuff. These are not things that I generally care about, right? But what I'm saying is that those same people though, they do want healthcare, education, food, housing, like these are the things we all want. So so that's all I've been trying to tell you is that that's what they want. It's not a mindset that needs to change. That the system needs to change to accommodate them, to help them get those things, maintain those things, and then we'll see whatever the fuck is going on. Then you can tell me in 20 years after that shit happens, see, it's just a gang of motherfuckers then I'll believe.
And that's why you know that because people want those things. That's why the system is the way it is right now, right? Because the one thing that these people, because you might be an exceptional person and make it to the top. I guarantee your kid is not exceptional just because you are.
Yeah.
They don't want those opportunities taken away from their kids. If everybody's on the same playing field, on the same level, the same playing field, you will see poor people doing amazing and crazy, amazing things and basically dunking on a lot of rich people. And the rich people do not want to see their kids getting dunked on.
They don't.
They believe that their kids are better than yours.
Tyrone said, in this current system, generational wealth will fix all those. I told you before, it wouldn't. I told you, I will find a study. I'm going to text it to you later on. I'm going to find a study that shows you that people in affluent households, black people in affluent households, were like the majority of them didn't maintain that level of living. You know what I'm saying? It's not like just because you get money that it's just gonna keep on going. It only happens for a certain group of people.
Okay, Tyrone. Both the system and the mindset want to change, not just the system. But look, you don't understand that the mentality is fomented by the system. That if you knew that when you walked out the door, you had every single opportunity to succeed, no matter what,
you would work way harder. You would work.
Your mentality would be totally different.
Yep.
And so the mentality is a product of the system itself.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So yes, the mentality needs to change. You're right.
Yep.
Yes, but the only way to change the mentality on a scale for the most people that you can.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to just change it for one. I'm going to make you statements of affirmation every morning. You're going to say this. You can do that in your own house, but what about your neighbors? How are we going to change it for everyone? We change it by changing the system. Because when the system changes, people have hope. And humans do a lot with hope. But when people don't have hope, they underachieve.
once again, yes, 100%. Once again, love life. My opinion, we use excuses. I don't compare myself, and you can become that if you choose. We got to stop lying, especially to the kids. Not every kid can be the president. Not every kid is going to be a Fortune 500 company CEO. Like, that's not realistic.
And it's better to actually pay attention to your kids as they grow up, identify their strengths, and help them to hone their skills in that strength. But that's better than to say, you can be anything you want to be, Johnny. No, you fucking can't.
My kid got, look, my oldest child has autism. I know, I don't know 100%, but he's 7 years old. I know he ain't gonna be a lot of things. And that's okay. Because who gives a fuck about that? Like, I don't care. I don't even care about any of that stuff.
He could possibly be president. I think Trump gives us hope.
But what he could be though, I'm sorry, but what he should be is healthy and happy and safe. You see what I'm saying? Like, these things are like what he should be. I don't give all that other stuff. Cool. Whatever your job is, whatever, however you get, cool. I don't care. That's fine. But I'm saying that, and the way that we get there for the majority of people would be health care for all, make sure everybody has somewhere to live, make sure everybody can eat, make sure everybody can go to college for free and not have to fucking pay an arm and a leg. Like, these things are, to me, like simple concepts that just like I don't feel like I don't even understand how this shit's going as far. Like, that's all it comes down to for us. That's all we're saying.
Your kids can't be whatever they want? No, they can't.
No, I wouldn't.
Because it depends. No, let's put it like, it depends on what they want to be.
No, I'm just saying that general statement.
They can be if they want to be something that actually fits into their strengths and their skill set and their mentality. They can definitely.
And my kid is 5'2". I'm not gonna tell him, yeah, man, you can play in the NBA.
Right.
That's fucking.
Even though there was a dude that was 5'4" that played the NBA one day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Oh yeah, Spud Webb played the NBA. Maybe you could be like Spud. You don't understand. Spud Webb was except he was jumping out the gym. And
I mean, I'm just not gonna tell my kid that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, if he proves me wrong, prove me wrong.
I'm out. Time out. And also, I would never tell my kid what he couldn't be. I would never say that to him. But I'm just saying that I know that my kid can't. Like, there's like children, whoever the fuck. We all can't be anything we want to be. That's a fucking lie. And there's proof, because everybody want to be. I'm sorry, not everybody. The vast majority of people want to be fucking happy. The vast majority of people want to be healthy. Are the vast majority of people in America happy? Nope. Are the vast majority of people in America healthy? Fuck no. So right there, that's your proof, right fucking there, dude. Or there's no need.
Or just look at it on a global scale. For the majority of the people in the world happy, there's a tremendous amount of human suffering.
Yeah.
Like I said, 10 families have more money than 50% of the world. The average person in the world makes $3 a week or $3 a day or something like that.
Why is that, bro? That's what I'm saying. Hey, man, y'all got a different. That's cool. This is some These are like ideologies where you can think whatever you want. You can tell your kids they can be fucking Michael. You can tell them whatever the fuck they want to be. The same way I'm gonna tell my kids, my babies believe in Santa. I'm gonna make sure they believe in Santa for as long as they possibly can. I'm not gonna tell them that Santa don't exist. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying that if my baby tells me that he wants to be the fucking a basketball player, professional basketball player, I'm gonna work out with him and do everything I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do all that shit with him. I'm never gonna say that you can't be anything. But this is not me talking to him. This is me talking to you guys and saying, in reality, though, I know that if my kid is fucking 5'2", he ain't gonna be a fucking basketball player, and that's okay. That's the thing that we gotta accept, that it's okay to not. There's a million. You know how many dreams I've had in my life? You know how many times my dreams have changed and adapted as I got older? Like, it's okay. I used to want to be a fucking marine biologist when I was in the 5th grade.
A lot of 5th graders want to be that.
Yeah, I just want to be a marine biologist when I was in the 5th grade. And then I was like 16 and I started researching marine biology and was like, I don't want to be a marine biologist. I got to get in the ocean. I'm afraid of the ocean. I got to do a gang of math. I'm not really that good at math. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dream changed. That's all that happens. That's okay. It's all right. I used to want to be a fucking world-class rapper and be on the TV and everybody know my name and shit like that. It didn't happen, and that's okay.
I used to want to be a journalist.
Yeah.
Until I realized what journalists actually do, which is bend over and take it in the ass for whoever's paying them.
We gonna be. I'm gonna be a journalist. Yeah.
I don't have to look. I can journal without being a journalist.
Yeah, go to school. But I'm just saying though, it's not worth it. I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm not saying that I would ever tell anybody anything. I would never tell you what not to do or what to. I'm not that person.
Right.
But if we're talking about because I live in reality, things boil down to odds a lot of times, right? So like the likelihood of something happening, right? And then even inside of that, I would be like, how good are you at it? And you know what I'm saying? Like, so even then that changes the odds, right? Like I said, my son is 5'2", he wants to play basketball, professional, I'll be like, I ain't gonna be for basketball. But if the nigga is 6'7",
or if he's 5'2" with cats like cantaloupes and he's dunking on me and he finds his own lane how to play, like
something freaky.
He amazed the fuck out of me. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Something freaky, but yeah.
Freaky, right. But he's a freak of nature.
If he's a freak of nature, then okay, that's gonna increase his odds, I would think. So let's keep that. Even then, I still know his odds are really low. But let's keep it going, right? But if my kid
got D1 college,
let's go. But if my kid is 5'2" and he's just really good, I'm gonna be like, he probably ain't ever making it to the NBA. If my kid is 6'7" and he's decent, probably ain't ever making it to the NBA, and that's fine. And you know what I would do? I would then just start planting seeds. I would just be like, hey, I noticed you're really good at that computer stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's all. Like that's what I would never tell them. Oh, you don't gotta be. Now I'll just be like, hey, you should also be good at this, so you don't have to stop being good at anything because you're good at something else. Like you should just be trying to be as good at anything as you can, and that's fine.
You should always have something to fall back on. And then,
always.
I know Tyrone. I know you were a standout in sports, so I know people always told you to have something to fall back on. But you know what I mean? But you're really good. Why would people tell you that if you could be anything you wanted?
Mm-hmm. Being willing to give it their all to make it. So, once again, though, the reason why.
Think about it like this. Think like this, Tyrone. You played high school football. How many people from high school that said they were going to be in the league one day actually made it to the league?
0.00000.
They put in the work and they try hard. Matter of fact, I was watching Hard Knocks. They had 99 people at the camp. They had to break it down to a 54-man roster. Mm-hmm. Some of those cats will never taste the NFL ever again. Mm-hmm. But you trying to say they didn't work hard enough to be in the NFL? They probably did. They didn't want it bad enough. That's probably a goddamn lie. You want to do a whole bunch of shit and break it up. But they didn't make it. No,
Tyrone. I don't believe in telling people to have a fallback plan. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like that. I don't like saying stuff like because it plants a seed. Like so my wife, she when she does stuff that is really hard for most people to do, she like never says like, oh, I'm gonna like try to do. Like she just like, I'm gonna do that, right? So that's fine. Like that's what I think. I think that's the best approach is to just. So that's how I would go about it. Like I would never tell somebody like I would never tell my kid like, oh, you should have a fallback plan because now I'm planting the negative seed, right? I would never say that to them, but I would just push other things that they were good at. So it would just happen naturally. So because if you just make them focus on one thing, you know what I'm saying? Or you just allow them to focus on one thing, then if they don't do good at that, or if they don't succeed at that one thing, now what are they going to do? Not have to find something else. But if they're doing that one thing and then you go, hey, look over here, don't you like to do that? Hey, take a break from that. You should do this too. And then there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not telling them I'm not planting any negative seeds. They don't even know what's happening. They just know I play football and I'm good at computers. And then if football doesn't work out, what do you think they're going to naturally fall into? Fucking computers, probably. You dig what I'm saying? Like that's pretty much how it works. It's not rocket science.
And 30 of the guys that fall out of your practice team. So that's what they wanted to be on the practice team?
Practice team don't make no money.
A couple dollars.
Yeah, practice team don't make no money. We know the majority of the people who go. I forget that doctor. I don't know if you guys seen this episode. It was an episode Phil Donahue show back in Phil Donahue.
I would have made it to the NFL easily if I was willing to do the work and had maturity. Unless somebody would have broke your leg off. And
I would have made it to the NFL easily? Yeah, you was better than
He was a beast.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Easily. Tyrone was a beast. He was a beast on beastie teams. They were good because of him.
Yeah,
he was good.
I just see you make $300K a year. That's a lot of fucking money.
That's the league minimum.
Yeah, I guess that is true. I think about that. Yeah, but yeah, man. So that's cool for them. But the majority of the people don't make it to the practice team. The majority of people who play college football. How many colleges are there in America?
D1. No, just go to D1.
D1, whatever. There's thousands.
Occasionally, you see cats from D2 make it to the pros, but the majority of people that make it to the pros
and they come from like top notch.
And they were dogs. Yeah. And they were dogs in D1.
The best teams, all the best players. I'll say like in college and like the standout players in college were like the best dudes in their freaking city, probably in high school. And then you know what I'm saying? Like the dudes that make it to the NBA are like some of the best dudes you've ever seen in college. Like that's just how it works, man. Like a very, very, very small percentage of people actually make it to that level. And that's okay to accept. It doesn't mean that you have to like not try. That's not what it means. All it means is that there's nothing wrong with taking looking at things mathematically and saying, what are my odds? And then going about it, in that way. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Or in order, and he said, like, whoever works hard and makes good decisions. Well, in order to do that, you have to understand the system. Mm-hmm. The system, and then there's have to be things that work in your favor.
There aren't a lot of people that make the pros. That's true. Yeah, we know. Like literally, it's like less than 1% of
compared to the amount of people that play.
Yeah, it's literally like from the kids who start off playing any given sport to the people that actually end up making it pro. It's like literally less than 1%. It's like a fraction of a percent.
And they said it was like 1 in like 2,500 in like the NFL.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, it's ridiculously high. But and even to be a CEO of a company, very, very few people make it to be CEOs of companies. Fortune 500, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, but what you can be is you can be a fucking engineer. You can be a doctor. You can be a scientist. You can be you know what I mean? Like, these are things that you have control over, and you can be these things if you get the education and you put in the hard work and yada, yada, yada. But our kids, they'll have those opportunities because we're there. We're going to, we got the money. You know what I mean? Like those. But
when I was a kid, they literally didn't fuck around and tell you could be president.
They didn't?
They didn't play that shit.
Actually, no, I'm sorry. In my elementary school, they did. Because I went to all-white elementary school.
Oh, they were telling me
everything. They told me I could be.
You was an all-white president. But they wasn't talking to you.
They weren't. No. My other teacher named Miss Mings, go out of her way. She said, "You're the smartest kid in this class." Like she was like to straight. And I really probably was the smartest kid in the class. She wasn't telling me that, but she was like, "Bryce, you could be anything." She was English too. She talked like a nanny. She was really proper, and she actually was like Christian Okoye is the football player. She was like his like stepmother or some like he like came and like lived with her in America and like it was like crazy. So she's like you want to meet Christian Okoye and and all this stuff. Like it was crazy. But yeah, she told me I could be anything I wanted to be when I was in elementary school.
They didn't even fuck around with us.
That stopped when I was in junior high school. Though. I didn't hear you could be whatever you wanted to be in junior high school.
I like her. A black person has never been president.
Very few people do that work to become a CEO. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Very few people end up becoming a CEO. People work.
You could be a CEO. You're a CEO right now, Tyrone.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying. I was talking about it with 60. I was saying, you know what I mean? Like I was
like a Fortune 500.
I'm saying because I'm saying the odds of that is to me like the same as being a frequent. It's probably less.
Well, think about a Fortune 500 company. There's CEOs. There's only 500 CEOs.
Yeah.
How many people are in business?
Yeah.
Literally hundreds of thousands of people.
Millions of people are in it. Yeah.
Right. Millions of people. Right.
That's crazy. So the vast majority. So it's hard to become a CEO. But once again, I would never tell. If my kid was like, I'm gonna be CEO of AT&T one day, I'm not gonna be like, nah, dog, you shouldn't even shoot. I'll be like, yeah, nigga, do that shit. Shoot
early. We're trying to get you an interview.
Shoot for the stars, land on the moon, or shoot for the some shit like that. Like I'm all right with that. Like that's fine. But I know in the back of my mind, I'm like, he probably ain't gonna be that. And I'm not gonna be disappointed if he's not that. That's not gonna disappoint me. I'm gonna love him no matter what. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna accept that. Like I know I'm 37 years old and I'm not going to play in the NBA. I know I can't play in the NBA.
Well, wait, if we start working out right now, we want it bad enough.
I know I'm not going to be the CEO.
I can do like Kobe. Just give me one Kobe game where I can take as many shots as I want against the Utah Jazz. I swear I'll put up 60.
Yeah, it's not easy. I'm not saying any.
Give me one game.
But what should be easy is everybody having like bare minimum shit. Like
I'm not saying it's easy or fair. Fair. It's not fair. No, but we don't want equity in outcome.
Yeah.
We want equity and opportunity.
That's it.
And there is no equity and opportunity. See, that's when you attack the system, because when there's equity and opportunity, it will change outcomes. It still won't be equity and outcomes because people are different levels.
That's life,
man. That's life.
I don't want everybody to be CEOs.
Life's not fair.
Yeah.
But life shouldn't be the unfair things about life that are in our control to change. We're gonna change those things. How about that? Exactly. Life's not fair as it is. But things like income inequality can be changed because income is a man-made concept.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Things like healthcare can be changed because healthcare is a man-made concept.
Everybody should have somewhere to live. Yeah. Everybody should have some like these that's all I'm like these things are like we're all supposed to have these things, and if we all had these things, I guarantee you that you wouldn't see so many people not like pushing it to the limit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like positive reinforcements in business. Like, so in my job, it's supposed to be competitive, but it's really not competitive, right? Because they usually in sales, they make it really competitive to push people, right? Okay, so they used to offer a monthly bonus for the top man in the store, right? The 20 salespeople or whatever, right? One person could get the bonus. Cool, bonus was like $1,000, $2,000, whatever it was. If somebody wins that bonus 7 months in a row, that discourages everybody else from even trying to win that bonus. If they see the same person getting it time and time again, they're like, I can't get that shit. I'm never gonna get it. And then they stop trying. But imagine if they took that same $2,000 bonus and said, all right, top man gets 1,000. Next person gets 500. The next person gets 200. The next person gets 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guarantee you more people would try. Now, top man, I still get a lot of money. And now everybody else has something to strive for. You would see people trying harder because the likelihood that they'll get something goes up exponentially. You know what I'm saying? That's all we're saying. If you make it easier for people to fucking see through all the bullshit, then they'll try harder. They'll see the gold at the end of the rainbow, whatever euphemism you want to use. They'll see that shit. You know what I'm saying? But right now, they can't see it, man. When you in the hood, you don't see that shit. When you broke in Kentucky and you don't see that shit. You don't see no way out.
Right. And sometimes it ain't no way out.
And a lot of times there ain't no way out.
Yep. So with that, we will conclude our broadcast.
Right on.
You know, Tyrone, you're wrong. We're right. And and it's not fair, but I'm here with the camera and people can hear me.
Yep. And we about to mute you right now.
Like, share, subscribe. This is some good shit. Mm-hmm. Some good ass shows, man. Share it with your friends. If you don't, you know what I mean? You know, take this, hit the little share thing right there, put it on your Facebook page.
And we appreciate everybody. Appreciate everybody that participated. We love participation, man. Y'all can see we'll read as much shit. I didn't even get to the last one I wanted to talk about, but we'll get to it another day.
Definitely.
Nah, you ain't always wrong, Tyrone. You be right a lot.
Tyrone just be trolling us, man.
Sometimes he be trolling.
He's trying to grill you, see what's up, see if you know what you're talking about.
I
appreciate that. Oh yeah, this, you know what I mean? Look for the app, man. That's good, man. Check the app out. Soapbox Heroes. You know what I mean? Get a load of it, man. You can get it live you can get it streamed 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 a year. Man. Radio, we about to be, y'all ain't gotta look at us. You just gonna hear the voices. We about to mix it up. We gonna get active, man. But we gonna get out of here. Appreciate everybody for participating, and y'all have a good night. See y'all next week. Love, peace, and hair grease.